Azerbaijan getting on the attack. Tour of Azerbaijan was a race that grew on the program for many years. Tour of Azerbaijan was the first race where we really saw Primož Roglič come to the fore. Took his first pro win, Tour of Azerbaijan, then came back the next year, won the same stage, and won the general classification in that one. That was where I first met Primož, over in Azerbaijan. Good race. Just let's see, riders just trying to get rid of the rain cages. It's Oliver Dawson that's trying to get rid of his rain jacket here. Unusual to see one of the only riders started in the race today, Brian. One of the Brits, because this is a normal day for us.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's struggling to get his jacket off. I'm pretty sure his dad's Kevin Dawson would have kind of tried to kind of help him a little bit on these. You know, you've got some proud parents at home watching these races, and Kevin Dawson is a rider of kind of my age group that, you know, I used to race with domestically as well. Very good rider, very good time trialist. Good to see that, you know, his son's here. Also, you've got, you know, as part of the British team, you've got, you know, some quality riders. Sebastian Gringley from Warrington area, and of course the Scots Elliot Rowe from Aberdeenshire. Big crash in the background there. This is what we're talking about. You know, these kind of major crashes, keep towards the front. But yeah, good to see Elliot Rowe, the Scot here. I had a lot of, I had an ex-teammate in 1996 with his mum at Atlanta Olympics.
So big crash here. Everyone is just getting themselves up and going. Hopefully everyone is okay. And a lot of the time, Brian, it's these little kind of raised bits of road furniture as well, and just the general sort of glacial nature as well. When you're trying to change direction quickly as well, it's just so unpredictable.
A lot of the riders going to the right there and heading onto the pavement instead of you maybe kind of staying on the road, and you get people, road furniture and raised kind of cobble parts here. People move to the left and the right, and you know they just kind of collide with each other. I also saw one of the other British riders. We saw that you know, young Dawson took his jacket off. Oliver Dawson took his jacket off, but there was another GB rider with his fluorescent jacket on involved with that incident. I think he never came off. I think he needed to see the service car, but. You know, do we question why Denmark are doing this?
No, they're on the front, as you said. You know, this is the safest tactic for them to be able to ride this race. Oh, right, just a lost saddle here for a Brazilian rider. So broken saddle. So Lina Assis-Moreira just trying to sort the bike out. Just trying to straighten out the bars there. The Shimano neutral service car. Guillermo Assis-Moreira Lino needs a new saddle, a new bike rather.
Yeah, coming from Brazil over to Europe, what's the budget like? Do they look as if they had a couple of bikes on the car. I hope he does have a spare bike. Do you remember the Colombian rider in Harrogate that had an issue and was sat at the side of the road for ages and ages, and he was in tears, just waiting for some service? You know, this is the biggest race of your life so far. You come all the way from South America, and something like that happens, and all you want to do is continue and try and finish under these circumstances, and it can be heartbreaking for some.
Indeed. USA now getting themselves up towards the front. They've got some good options in the race. The USA is a lot of chat about the team of the USA. The Aussies are here, and that crash has delayed quite a chunk of riders. So crashes in the technical sections, these descents that we've got along the course, just the weather conditions that the riders are dealing with as well. I didn't look. I should have looked to see when the last time they had some heavy rain in Zurich as well, because that can as well affect things, can't it, Brian? If you wake up on race day and it rains, and it hasn't rained for a while, because it makes it even more slippery.
It can do. I was really surprised at that kind of lamppost. The first one wasn't padded on the right-hand side coming out that. But, you know, that crash, I don't think you can add any more nervousness to this peloton. It was already kind of very, very nervous. And, yeah, the Danes taking absolutely, you know, no prisoners here. They're looking after Philipsen to the left-hand side. He's the rider, I remind everybody, with the red helmets for Denmark and the red kit, just right at the front. And it's the same with the women's race earlier on. A lot of roundabouts, a lot of road furniture. This is the kind of flattest part of the race, but it could be, you know, you could end your race here.
Good indeed. You can see riders chasing to try and get back in here. So the peloton all stretched out. Denmark here with a big plan. And Albert Philipsen, the defending champion, wearing number 1. He's on his Trek bike. Big contract signed for Philipsen. See as well, riders taking in. Another big crash that we've had, unfortunately, there. It's a little bit further back. So another crash that we just saw on the left there, Brian.
Yeah, it's happening too often, Marty, and you know, really no surprise. Every roundabout, you know, every traffic island, these riders will know this route. Adding to the fact that the white lines, it's the coming together of many, and you know, we sound repetitive at the time, but the Danes taking no risk whatsoever and just making sure that they look after, you know, their number 1 man, and it's like about getting him to the line. We know he's the odds-on favourite to win this race, but you have to get him to the finishing line.
And you can see as we go a little bit further back, and riders that are just sort of gingerly taking in some of these rounders as well. A rider from Algeria, riders just getting tailed off towards the back, getting delayed by these crashes. But what is always impressive as well is when you see a team riding like Denmark as in a junior race, such as they have a strict plan, and that plan is just being played out in front of our eyes here. It's just to shepherd their man to the finish, and it's a really impressive team performance here from Denmark. We got 107.9 to go. If you're with us on the TV, you're off for a short break. Make sure you come back. This descent here, Brian, you can see that shot. You can see just how lined out it is, the spray off the wheels. What the riders have also got to be careful of on this road furniture is hopping up into the middle of some of the roundabouts. You go from tarmac to brick as well, and sometimes the sort of ornamental brick that they use. Just have a little replay here. The rider just on the side. Oh, just got the Czechia rider there. Just saw him ducking his head on the inside before he kind of went down there.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see what happened to that rider there. Definitely coming out that roundabout, but it's toe curling. No different to what I remember from being a junior and riding the World Championships. Absolute chaos. It just goes to show you this morning, we've never had too many incidents like this in the women's race. But here in the men's junior race, it's just, at the moment, it's carnage. And it's just, you know, first and foremost, I reiterate, it's safety is the word in mind, and that's what Denmark are doing. There's a few other the kind of Dutch riders, different team, the British riders right up there as well. But yeah, unfortunately for some riders, they've been caught out.
There are 18 roundabouts in Eritrea alone, apparently, on this course. Of the day, or the interesting fact of the day, 18 different roundabouts for the riders to negotiate. We are on our first loop of the course here in the Junior Men's World Championship road race. If you're just getting on board, we're on the Greifensee circuit, starting in Uster. About 1.25 loops around here before we head towards Mauer, where we turn left and start to climb up towards Binz. And we then take in our finishing circuits, and we will take in the 3 loops of our city circuit. But a brutal start, you would say, to this junior men's road race today. There's Uster Castle, built in around 1100. And this was this big textile manufacturing area in Jakobusstad, buying the castle in 1916 and then gave it to Uster as a foundation. That's, yes, one of the textile industry down here in this part of the world. So our first climb at Binz comes with 99.7 kilometers to go. Welcome back if you're rejoining us on the TV. If you're joining us for the first time today, it's the Junior Men's Road Race here in the UCI Road and Paracycling Road World Championships, 127.2 kilometers. And if you're joining us for the first time, it has been an absolutely savage start to this Junior World Championship. We have had a lot of crashes, and you can see here, we just had another one, rider just sliding out, taking one of the Dutch riders with him. So one of the Danes go down.
Marty, that slid out there first, and yeah, it's every roundabout there seems to be some sort happening, and it's happening at the front as well. It's not as if it's kind of further back in this peloton.
No, not at all. There is a sort of drain cover, a drain right on the inside of that roundabout. Noticed it earlier on, and it did look like he just lost it as he slid out there. You can see the sort of the battle at the front. This is a real battle that the riders have on their hands today, and just really has cut his it's his strapping on his knee. I was going to say he's got the black kinesio tape on the knee. They get back up, get going now. To get back in, needs to be aware of the job to do today. Noah Anderson from Denmark. So a couple of riders here who just jump on the Dane to try and ride themselves back in if they can. There's the ride group just ahead. And the trouble is because there's been so many crashes here, Brian, the convoy is kind of separated. So getting back in is going to use a lot of power and energy to get back in here.
Yes, it's not like a pro race where you've got a nice neat convoy behind. They're going to have to waste a lot of energy getting back.
Let's hear from that.
I guess you get really good memories from this race. Last year you get the #1 here. Tell us how do we feel just before that one? Nervous?
Yeah, of course I'm nervous today, but I feel super ready for this race. I had a pretty bad day for the time trial, so I'm super hungry to go out and show what I know I'm capable of.
And when you're hungry, you're better.
Yeah, definitely.
The weather might change a bit the things. What do you imagine for today?
I think it's going to be super good for our team because we are more used to it than maybe some of the other guys, and it's just going to make the race even harder, which is in our advantage.
But how you would like to see the race evolve? You'd like to control it? You'd like to make it pretty hard?
Yeah, definitely. I think the harder the better for us. So yeah, that's the plan.
In this course, there are climbs. There are also technical descents. How we can take advantage of that course?
There are a lot of ways that you can take advantage of this course. I think for us, it's going to be that we have such a strong team, so we can really use it to our advantage and just keep the speed high.
Just want to think, who do you see as your main opponent?
I would say Paul Sexas is probably the biggest guy. He's looking super strong, so he's definitely going to be one to look out for.
Thank you very much. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Philipsen our defending champion. Always good to get their insight and who he's watching out for. Paul Sexas the rider on everyone's lips today.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, after the time trial, looked really, really strong. You know, won that head and shoulders above everybody else. Super time trial. But I think you just heard from Phillipson. You know, he's disappointed with his time trial. Defending champion. Danes looking after each other. I just saw quite a turbo bottle there from the Danish team car to try and help the rider that had crashed on. Unfortunately for Elliot Rowe, he finds himself at the back here. He's got a job if he wants to get back to the front of this race.
Has indeed. 101.5 kilometres to go here. It's Denmark on the front for defending champion Albert Philipsen. And no one really able to get away. We've had one attack so far in the race. The only rider that managed to get away momentarily was Turel Sfrilapov from Azerbaijan. So you could see the Azeri rider getting himself off the front. Israfilov, just a short-lived attack off the front. Road rising here, so we'll see as this race goes on in terms of the climb. So this is the first sort of climb here, Brian, as we've been through Mauer and we start this climb. And this is where we started to see cracks in the junior women's race earlier on today as well.
Yeah, you want to go onto the climb. You want to kind of slow down a little bit. You want some order in the race. It's just kind of kicking off right, left and centre so far with the amount of road furniture, roundabouts, causing problems. Some riders getting involved with crashes. You see a couple of the Czechia riders in here trying to get back. In fact, it looks as if they've got 3 riders here. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of their kind of star riders has had a bit of an off, and you know they're trying to kind of help riders to come back on. But yeah, tough times at the moment, and I think, you know, the race, I don't think is going to settle down, but on this incline, it just kind of, and definitely in the peloton, it's settling down a little bit, but not for these guys because they're trying to get back.
They are. You see the Mauer wall, as it's called, 18.9% maximum gradient for the riders to be dealing with here. A few riders just getting distance. Got Moise Niriganya there from Rwanda. And just ahead of him, Adam Pesek from Czechia. So the Czech rider, just look at some of our riders here. Artyom Kuryakov from Azerbaijan. One of our Azerbaijan riders, bronze medalist in this year's National Road Championships. Rider from Turkey, just on the other side there. Emin Cicek from Turkey. Back to the front. Italy, Switzerland, Denmark. See some Great Britain jerseys. The French colours all up towards the front. Another team that have got a real favourite in this race. World Time Trial champion. Can do the double in this one today. Listening to Albert Philipsen, that's the thing about the time trial as well, isn't it? As we always say, it's the race of truth. There's nowhere to hide in the time trial, and it's a common thing as well that riders go into that one with big expectations, and the legs just don't show up on the day.
Definitely, it can happen. Of course, it happens at kind of earlier ages, but the further you get up, the kind of levels, it shouldn't really happen. You should know in your kind of preparation, you know, where you're really at. Of course, on the day, if you don't get something right, still kind of learning about yourself, then you can get a bad day from time to time. But I think having someone that's defending his title, you know, he wants to keep a hold of that title. It'll be hard to beat, but you just cannot give anything away. You cannot put too much pressure on yourself. And I think for Philipsen, this is a test of, you know, how mature he is. And from his interview, he did look very mature for his age. It's just how you deal with that pressure, how you deal with everything. I know that the Danes are really, you know, making sure that they look after him. It's not making too many. It's not. You can't be complacent in a race like this, because like Sexes from France and possibly some other riders, they are up for taking that title away from you.
Yeah, and you can see just how much damage is being done now on this first big climb of the day. Heading towards Vincent, we've got a big attack now going in, and it's the orange of the Netherlands going on the attack. So good move going in here. So the Dutch riders, as they did in the junior women's race, kicking things off on this climb. You can see behind plenty of reaction. Germany, USA trying to get on board, and you can see how considerably smaller. There's all the groups in the background that have been tailed off here, but good tempo set on our climb. We'll just look back down through the groups. We're just keeping an eye out as well for any of our riders that we thought might be up there. That was Alex Eves of Australia, who's gone backwards. It's on board Takash here from Hungary. Good cyclocross riders on board Takash. Not to be today on the road for the man from Hungary. You see the cars just trying to move up here as well, as riders just get distanced a little bit. Big attack going in from the USA. You can see these US colours. Peyton Burknell, looks like, that's going on the is on the attack at the front for the USA. That's where we are on the course. So we're just on this little this transition, Brian, between the two circuits here at the moment.
And this is where the damage was done in the junior women's race earlier on. It does get a little bit tricky. You know, there are a few small climbs coming up, and then you've got that particularly fast descent. So, yeah, no real surprise that we're starting to see some attacks now. Of course, this race is always very difficult to control. The Danes have managed to control at least, you know, the start here, but now we're into the, you know, the climbing, the drags, and, you know, it seems to be kind of every man for themselves for the moment anyway. And the Dutch, together with an Australian rider coming across here, and the Danes do not want to miss anything.
No, not at all. They've just got to manage this race. So good to see the Aussies getting up here, making the moves, getting in on the attack. Gently for Strata here, 18 years old, from Belgium. So number 25 from Belgium, just on the back of this this group. Not looking like he's feeling particularly. It's like he's having a few issues with Strata. Just ahead of him, so in the group, got Christian Ramelli here of Italy. The Belgian just ahead of him as well. Got Jasper Schoos in there for Belgium. So this group, they're just all the cars coming through. So that's Christian Ramelli. Back to the front. They're shredding this race down. 97.2 kilometres to go still altogether. Team Denmark on the fronts, just neutralising this at the moment. It looks like it's going to be a very attritional sort of race as well, Brian.
Yeah, it looks like that. Still with a sizable peloton at the front. In the women's race today, we already had a kind of move at this moment, but it's still a long way to go in this one, with just under 97 kilometres to go. But Denmark still keeping a strong tempo. Philipson in the red helmet there, still keeping well towards the fore. You cannot sit back in this one, otherwise you may miss out. But we're starting to get to the point where it gets a little bit more technical. There's a few kind of small wee climbs coming up, and yeah, I'm sure that some attacks are going to come in the following kilometres now.
Well, you can see comes Brazil up here as well, still in this group. In the Aussie jerseys, so we've got some Aussies in there. They started the race with 4. Down just a couple. Denmark, we had that crash for Noah Anderson. I haven't seen Anderson back up towards the front of this group. Just have a look back down through the back of the peloton a little bit. Luis Bonfim de Almeida from Brazil. Just having a look around this group just to see who's in here as well. So Gentleman struggling out closer, just this as well. As the head of him is Reef Roberts from New Zealand. So the New Zealand road champion just going backwards here. Reef Roberts, one rider that I had a little star by, being New Zealand champion. Denmark ripping things up yet again now on the front. 95.6 to go. Very much in control of this one. They're down to 2 riders in front of Albert Philipsen. I'll see them down through the group, Brian. I'd see how many more riders they've still got in here. We did have Anderson go down in that crash. I haven't seen him back in yet, have you?
I haven't. I'd be surprised if he was, because of what's happening behind. I just saw the Belgians. It looked as if Jesper Scoofs, they were trying to kind of bring him back. He was one of the kind of outsiders for the day. Obviously involved in one of the crashes, trying to bring him back, but with gaps everywhere, it's always going to be difficult.
So a little around the group, you can see the tall figure of Ashlyn Barry, the US team in there. There's our Danish team. And it's an impressive ride so far today from the Danes. .7 kilometres to go. We are really on a sort of transition between circuits, and it is Team Denmark that are riding impressively on the front for Albert Philipsen. Thanks for joining us today. It has been an absolutely brutal start to the Junior Men's World Road Race title here in Zurich. You can see the tough conditions that the riders are having to deal with. 127.2 kilometres in length is this race. Brian, you've got to see the Danes are riding, the Danish junior men's team here, riding like a world tour team. Would that be a fair analysis and respect to them?
Yeah, 100%. This is what you have to do. It's reminiscent of the Olympics in 2012. And even when Cav won the World Professional Road Race Championships in Copenhagen, it's just right at the front, do what's is best. The only worry, if I was Philipsen, was crashing. We've said it all day long, we said safety. You've got to get to the finish. And if this is the way they're going to do it, then this is the way it's going to happen. So just right at the front, keep them out of trouble, and you've got a potential, world champion, and you're missing. And that's the goal. As soon as you take your eye off the ball, come back into the group. The more riders that are in front of you, the more chances that an accident can happen. So yeah, it's just about making sure that you look after your principal rider, and the Danes are riding like a World Tour team.
So just at the back of Gray Barnett from the USA. So Barnett, one rider that was another that people were talking about. Hugo Richaud here as well from Denmark. Don't know if he's had an issue or it's just been the pressure that's had him dropped from the group. He's done a lot of work earlier on as the Danish rider. Didn't see if Gray Barnett went down in any of the crashes. I didn't spot him, the American rider.
No, it'd be very difficult to see, but You know, the Danes have got this plan through their team. Okay, they started with 5 riders, but if they burn through a couple of riders earlier on, so what? You know, they've got to this stage. You know, they're coming on to the city centre, the city circuits. Philipsen is good. He's not been involved with any of these crashes. So they're in a good place at the moment.
They are indeed. Just on these steep descents. They're really, this is these sort of very, very steep descents. Riders are just having to manage the corners at the bottom as well. Really steep descents that they are taking in. Where we are on the course, steep descent, couple of other little kickers on the climbs, little short, sharp climbs, and then the sort of real fast bit of the descent coming with about 90.2 kilometers to go, and that takes us down to a right turn along to take us down to Lake Zurich. That comes at about 88 kilometers to go, just to give you an idea of what the riders are going to be dealing with over the next 5 kilometers or so. And then we head up and through the finish line, and then really taking our full city loops. That will the riders will be tackling. They're just looking back down through the grid. And what the Danes are doing impressively here as well, in terms of it's just getting rid of the teammates as well, of looking to try and offload as many of the rival teams who had strength in numbers coming into this race today.
Well, just look here, Philipsen comes into this very kind of nasty corner there, a sequence of corners, and he comes to the front. It's attention to detail. It's his homework. That was a very tricky part of the course, and then we drop down here and we've got a small kick up now, and then it goes up even further. So, yeah, it's all this attention to detail that counts in a World Championship.
Philipsen just pressing on now at the front, and it just gives a little nudge just to see if anyone wants to react to this one.
So this is 14% up here. Okay, it's only short. We go over the top and it doesn't exactly go downhill straight away, but if you can stretch that elastic, you can hurt a lot of riders that are out of position or are a little bit further behind.
Yeah, I think it's Patrick Goscherny from Poland that's just had made a little move on the front. Henrik Ribeiro Bravo from Brazil, 18 years old. So the Brazil rider just getting distance off the back. Rincon there of Colombia. And each time you can see the sort of rises and falls of the loop, the route that we've got ahead of us. So the rider from Poland races with the Visma Lease Bike development team. 90.6 kilometers to go and thinning down considerably. Philipsen does look strong though with the little moves that he's making, but within his they look at the moment, Brian, within his comfort zone, as you said, coming to the front on the descent, showing his confidence, showing his number one on his back as well. Also means you can just pick your lines that you want to take through those corners. And sometimes some riders, little birds, wake up the legs sometimes with a little move up a climb.
Yeah, he's riding confidently. He's not overconfident, and that was always going to be a situation. If you ride overconfident, then you can waste too much energy. He put the pressure on at the right time. He came to the front at the right time. He was okay with the Polish rider coming past him, just sitting on the wheels. And again, he's sitting third place. This is this kind of long descent. This is quite tricky, this one, but he's happy, he's calculating, he's done his homework, he knows what he has to do. And I think the big thing at the back of his mind is staying safe and staying upright.
Here's just the German rider on the front. Going through this descent as well, you can see the speed that the motorbike is having to try and carry on this descent, given how fast the riders are descending behind. And as we did in the women's race as well this morning, the descent is taking the descent comfortably within your confidence level as well, for those riders that are confident in their descending skills and comfortable in these sort of conditions on sort of steep descents such as this. And you look at, as we get to the bottom here, this is this right turn that we were talking about. You've got to watch these manhole covers as well that are on the bend. But the German riders, the Danes, you know, where we are in Switzerland, given the parkour that we've got here, quite similar to the sort of a lot of the races I imagine they'll be sort of doing back home, sort of circuits, punchy climbs as well that they're dealing with.
Definitely. Just look at Philipsen in third place here. You know, he's relaxed. He was just kind of cleaning his glasses. You know, just not panicking at all. But I tell you what, see further back, there is panic. You know, every corner you go round. It was what, 20, 30 seconds ago that they were round this corner. That's a long, long way down. That's a big stretch in this elastic band. And as we know, that if it continues to stretch, it will break. Germany here pushing it on with France. This is the place to be, and just making that small effort and that descent up the other side, getting good position on here. And it's not just this lap, every lap makes a huge difference.
It does indeed. And this, you can see as we look back, there's a few gaps opening on the descent under the pressure of the German rider on the fronts. This is Seth Dunwoody, the Irish national champion, 18 years old. Seth Dunwoody. And just laying just off the back of the group here for the Irish rider. There's the Lake Zurich, you can see just through the buildings. Little flick of the elbow. And this descent, Brian, has made a considerable dent in that peloton. The Italian rider you can see there is just trying to encourage everyone to press on here, look to try and capitalize on that descent. And they all look around, they're looking back over the shoulder. This is an opportunity here for these guys to try and take a small group clear. Our Polish rider comes back through towards the front here. So moving up. So can they press on with this one? Philipsen flicks the elbow.
The thing is, in this situation, is you got to remind yourself that, okay, that you're just kind of pressing on a little bit and keeping the tempo high. You only have to ride a tempo and kind of roll through here. You don't have to kind of press too hard. It's the others that are chasing harder, and that takes a lot of energy out yourself. So just keep on rolling through. Don't worry about what's happening behind, because over the last kind of 3-4 kilometres there with the small sharp climb, the descent, you know, this is what's happening in the race. This elastic is continually being stretched, and all the riders that are trying to come back are making a hell of a lot more effort than you are just by rolling through.
So just continuing to just press on here if they can. So our Spanish rider just coming through towards the front of the group as well. Like Hector Alvarez, Dutch rider there, just on the side, just getting caught in that little ridge, dropping in there, just scooting along. This is where we are on the course. So we are now on this next little climb. You can see that steep descent that the riders have taken in, this next climb. Paul Sexas, you can see there on the blue bike in the dark blue of France with the white sleeves. He's in this group as well with the white glasses. He's not far away from the front. Just a little look here. The Dutch rider just moving across there. Nice save, though. Just got caught in that little ridge. That's the danger as well, though, Brian.
Well, looking behind.
Yeah, just from looking back, but also just swinging across without, you know, it's instinct sometimes. Nice save. So just the rider on the back here. Cal Tutti from Ireland. John Melby of Sweden. And the Irish team. Seth Dunwoody in this group as well for Ireland. So just a little look up through the group. So the number 40 on the front for the USA is Noah Sleith from the USA, just on the front of that group. This is back to the front group. So that is our second part of the peloton, Brian. So quite a few of the Irish riders, unfortunately, in that group behind.
Yeah, definitely positioning is key here, and that's why we've seen, the red jerseys of Denmark well towards the fore. And in circumstances like this, we see a lot of the time, and a lot of the World Tour races, it's worth making that kind of small effort at the front rather than making a harder effort to come back. We do have a sizable group here, probably too big to start to kind of ride together, because there are a few riders in here that have already made some kind of hard effort. So, they're just happy to be here. The thing is, you cannot take your foot off the gas too much. But it is a sizable group to work together, and I don't think for one moment they will.
Just putting that little skip at the side behind him, our rider here from the Netherlands. Driving on here. Just tucking it down on the descent. All of the Dutch riders quite tall, very similar in stature. The British rider just coming across. I think we've got two Brits in this group. From looking down through the makeup of the group, it looked like the bike colours of Sebastian Grindley in there. So everyone just looking around at each other on the front of that group. 82.9 kilometres to go here. Just going to continue to press on here. There's a little bit of a lull behind as we go past the pit area. Get back behind our next group on the road. You can see just how much the pressure of this race so far has taken its toll on this peloton already. We started with 158 riders from 60 different nations in our junior men's road race title. And it is being whittled down. The riders, most of the riders, Brian, that came into this as pre-race favourites are up towards the front of that group. One sort of pre-race favourite I haven't seen yet is Felix Orm Christoph of Norway, the European champion. Watching out for that Norwegian champions jersey, if we can.
Yeah, younger brother of Alexander Christoph, Norwegian star. So, yes, kind of hard to kind of pick out. Most of them are there. We can see quite a few Danish riders. Very difficult to see if there's any Norwegians in here, Marty. But yeah, very, very small select group, and it's continuing with the action here. When we consider that there were 160 riders at the start of this event here, and we've only done touch on 50 kilometres, and this is what's happening. There's no place to hide, like as we were saying just a moment ago. It's better to just make a little bit of an effort at the front to stay there, rather than get in the wrong place and it all being split to pieces. And I think now this is a kind of manageable group. We've got about 40 odd riders left at the front of the race. Big gap behind to the rest of them, and that's all down to positioning.
This group looking around at each other, and there's our as we the line. It is our Norwegian, and it's Orn Christoph that goes through.
Help to get back on, but you know, no sooner than we're through the line, we get through some kind of on a cobble street, and we're onto the cliff. I think that is some action as well at the front.
Well, look at this race. It has just been absolutely blown to bits. Paul Sexas, you can see there in that chasing group, was 8 seconds down as our next group go through there at 44 seconds. Then this next little group of riders, they're going to go through just around that minute down, going through that next group on the road. So we're heading towards our next climb. So there's quite a steep climb, the Zurich climb coming straight after the finish line. Zeneremine of the Netherlands on the front here, hands over to Felix Orn Christoph. The gap is 1 minute and 16 seconds. We have 79.6 kilometers to go. Orn Christoph of Norway on the front. So just on the back of this group, Genji Iwamura of Japan, just on the back of this next group, and they can see another small group of riders just ahead of them. So this would be the third group on the road. This group's still pretty much together here at the moment, and he's been riding impressively. Patrick Gosciardi from Poland, looking pretty active, the Polish rider on the front here.
Yeah, looking good. I'm not too sure if it's here on this lap, and this is why you have to stay in control. We're just about to head up this kind of long drag, and it gets steeper towards the top. Not too sure if you want to be going at with 79 kilometres to go. A little bit too early, but I think for most of these riders, they'll just be happy that they're here at the front of the race. This is, of course, is the kind of second part of the group here. But yeah, still a long way to go in this race.
Oliver Dawson in there for Great Britain. We did see Oliver Dawson delayed a little bit earlier on, didn't we, Brian, by one of the crashes?
Yeah, I think just he was sitting towards the back, just trying to take his rain cape off, and you know, was struggling to do that, but he just get caught out behind a few of these crashes, and you always take that risk if you want to sit back there and crashes happen in front of you, gaps open. It's always going to be very difficult in this course, especially with the conditions, the slippy conditions of trying to come back to the front. USA on the front. Got 2 riders still in here from D. Let's go back to the shot, the slow-mo through the finish line. Felix Orn Christoph here from Norway. The younger brother of Alexander Christoph. There's your close-up as well of our Polish rider. And then this chasing group behind, knowing that they can't let this group go clear here. And that reaction straight away there from the German rider, who was the rider that did all of the damage, you would say, on the descent. Impressive descending today. So through the line then onto the next line. There's Paul Sexas of France. Everyone watching this rider here today. Back to the front. We're on the steep city climb here in Zurich, and it's our defending champion, Albert Philipsen. This is the Zurich Bergstrasse, maxing out at 17.2%. You join us with 77.9 kilometers to go here in our junior men's race. 1 minute and 25 seconds between this front group and the chasing group behind. But this is being whittled down very much so
to a group of big favourites, and we can see riders just getting distanced under the pressure here of the Danish rider, Albert Philipsen. This is a sort of bit of a first shake of the tree, Brian, to see who's left.
I'm kind of surprised that he's going this early, because the other riders, I'm pretty sure, when we look around, may not help, especially when we've got a big group. And just going over the top here, there might be a few riders thinking, well, he's pretty much on his own here, and a good opportunity to make a move, like in the right-hand side here, because what you want to do is put the pressure back on the Danes. So he made that effort. Now some of the riders that, were maybe kind of struggling a little bit, some of the outsiders, may disappear down the road, and then it'll be down to, Denmark and France to kind of close these ones down. So it's getting a bit more tactical now in this part of the race. I was a little bit surprised that Philipsen went as hard as he did there, because he never got the selection I think he was looking for. There's still a lot of riders still in contention here.
There are indeed. We're on the climb here. Elliot Boulet of France. You can just see how steep this climb is. It's going to be a tough one. And lap after lap. It's this accumulative climbing on a course like this, Brian. It just snaps the legs, doesn't it?
I always think it's harder when it's, pretty much like this. Because in your mind, if you've got a kind of main climb, right, you just concentrate, go over this climb and then it's fine. The rest of the circuit is okay. But when it's a short, sharp climb like that, followed by a small descent and then another one, when it's constant like that, it's just, it just blows out the legs, and you just want to be consistent. It's like in a time trial effort. You just want to sit there at threshold, but with these attacks and the conditions and the constant up and downs, your heart rate's going up, it's down, up and down, up and down. And as everybody knows, when that happens, like interval training, that's tough. And we saw it this morning in the junior women's race. It wasn't easy at all. And this is no surprise, but I think looking back here, I'm not too sure how many Danish riders are back here. Who's going to chase? That's the question you're going to ask. But these are good opportunist moves here. We've got Germany, Great Britain, is that Spain that's involved here, and is it just USA? So these are good opportunist moves. Just looking a little bit further back, and it looks as if Philipsen is one rider in this group to help him out. Only one rider left.
And that's the gamble, isn't it? If you play that tactic where you try and set things up early on, as the Danes have, and try and control everything in the manner that they have, and that you're just going to leave him isolated.
Yes, indeed. And when he makes a move, he's hoping to make that selection. He's hoping to have maybe 2 or 3 riders to go with him, and that's the kind of selection. And they all ride together and they all go and try and win the world title. But I think this is the best move from these nations here, that maybe not the favourites, likes of Philipsen and Sixas. So I'll tell you what to do. We're going to turn the tables. You can try and go on the move. You can try and, shake us out. But when the opportunity comes, this is what we're going to do. So this is a good fighting force here. And the Danes only having one rider to help Philipsen, and he's got a big job to do.
He has indeed. So he'll have to try and see if we can persuade other teams to try and join him at the chase. And if this breakaway of 3 can get clear here, we'll see if it plays into the hands of any of those groups behind chasing to get back in. It may well swell the group in numbers, especially if teams need to bring riders back in for the Danes, if they need to try and reinforce things at the front, even if it's riders can give Philipsen a little short effort on the front if they can. 3 leaders have been brought back, and now Italy going on the attack here. Is this Lorenzo Finn that's going clear for Italy? Looks like it. So it is Finn from
Alvarez.
Yeah, Alvarez going.
He's a big hope. He is one of another really good outsider here. So You know, the Danes have got their work cut out here in controlling things. What we were seeing just before is the second group behind this group. But this race is totally opening up in this first city loop here, and you know, there's a lot of riders under pressure now, and Phillips is having to do his own riding. He cannot watch everybody, but like you said, Marty, before, he's got a target on his back. He'll be lent on, and sometimes you have to do your own work, and it looks as if he is doing now.
And here's Hector Alvarez here of Spain. Is the rider that's got up to him. So dangerous move now going off the front with Lorenzo Finn of Italy and Hector Alvarez of Spain. And it is France that are doing the work on the front. Sexas has got a teammate in here to help him, but moves all the time. Alvarez from Spain. Another rider that's heading off to Lidl Trek. 17 years old.
Is it the helmet and bike that gives that away?
It does give it away, doesn't it? Sometimes you look at the helmet and the bike and you go, Lidl Trek. So but these teams are building for the future across men's and women's cycling as well. Lidl Trek doing the same thing, and they're just bringing their riders in and developing in them and just nurturing and bringing on that talent. And it is the teammates here of Paul Sexas that are doing they know that they can't let Finn and Alvarez go clear here. So for Sexas, he's having to sacrifice some teammates on the front now.
Yeah, both of these riders, Alvarez and Finn, I'd also marked as well. So sometimes that when these things happen, you don't know who to chase, who not to chase, but definitely two strong riders here in France shutting this one down. It's when we come over the top of this climb, there's a few riders just at the back here. If there's any easing up, and I think this rider here, number 4, I think that may have been one of the riders that was left to help Phillips, and he realises his race is not over. He needs to try and get there to help him, because it looks as if, and I think that was one of the main worries when you put in so much effort. Phillipson is one of or I think the favourite for today's race. You don't want to kind of leave him on his own, and I still think there's too many riders here. Not many of them will want to ride, especially when you see Sexas and Phillips are here. That's why we're seeing some attacks from some of the other potential favourites here.
Was that Christoph just going backwards as well? The Norwegian rider looked like was going backwards. So France, Paul Sexas, you can see there with the white glasses for France. He's got one teammate in here, which is good for him. Good scenario for him. Still in there, Patrick Goszczerny from Poland in the red and white, the yellow and black helmets for the Polish rider. Defending champion. So we've got Senna Remine still in there from the Netherlands. This is Ashlyn Barry going backwards for the USA, or has he got an issue? Ashlyn Barry's got any kind of mechanical? Having a look at the bike there, that's a surprise. Ashlyn Barry, one of the pre-race favourites from the USA.
Yeah, and then you see the British rider, I think it's Grindley, just at the back there, starting to struggle a little bit, but yeah, some of these riders will roll through, but another big opportunity for some of these riders to form their own kind of alliance.
Nicholas Halter here, Swiss champion. It is Sebastian Grindley just ahead of him. Can he ride his way back in here? You can see the rain spots on the lens of the camera. We have 3. When we went through the line, we had 3 laps to go as we come up towards the pit area. All the soigneurs are at the side. Just looking up through the group. Oban Sparfeld, sorry, Brian, who is the other French rider that's been doing the job here for France.
Let's see what happens over the top here, Marty, because this is a very select group. There's very few teams in here with multiples. If I was the Dutch, Trying to see if there's any other kind of nationals with multiples. I wouldn't be possibly rolling through. Yeah, I would try and, you know, have one rider maybe chip away. That group that Grimley was in, the kind of 4-man group, that looked good. Okay, there's still a long way to go, but what you don't want to do is give the likes of Philipson and Six as an easy ride, especially when you've got numbers in this front group.
So centre of mine comes through towards the front here for the Netherlands. You can see just looking through the murk here today in this race. The conditions that the junior women had to contend with this morning, the junior men are also having to deal with. So the British rider there just sitting up, cleaning the glasses. Saps on the front. Just towards the back, Paul Fiechke from Germany. Grindley has made it back in there. There's your group. So Sexas, Sparfel, Alvarez, Pericas from Spain. Then you've got Van Kerkhoven from Belgium, Czerny from Poland, Molinar, and Remine and Zomeront. I'm saying 3 Dutch riders. I'm only seeing 2. We've got Fiechke, Grindley, and Halter has made it back in there. So I'm seeing 2 riders from the Netherlands. So we've got Senna Remine and Jurgen Zomeront. So 2 riders in there.
Marty, this is a good move here. Alvarez again. That's what I'm saying. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the top. You know, when you've got, you know, a tough race like this, and you've got a couple of the kind of main favourites, especially the Danish rider. This is what you have to do. But then, you know, why is Poland riding? Just kind of sit back, try and kind of fire across to it. Looks as if he's trying to. He's kind of dragging the French, get them to react. But, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, one of these super hard efforts. Just try and kind of stealthily kind of move off the front. And for the second time now, we've seen Spain and Alvarez try this attack.
Yeah, that Polish rider doesn't have to do this. Being on his own within this group, just got, you don't want to be the bunch engine, do you? For want of a better word, you don't want to be one of the strongest in this group with 70 kilometers to go and come away with nothing, where you could have come away with a medal. So you just got to be mindful of the tactics. This Fiechke, right, number 58, bit of a descending demon. So we're just getting an update. Sexa, Sparfel, Alvarez, Pericas, so the 2 French, 2 Spanish riders. And Kerkhoven from Belgium, Czerny from Poland, Molinar, and we've got Remine and Zomerant. It's Fiechke, Grindley, and Halter in there for Switzerland. So number 50 there is Zomerant. And Senna Remine here, the other Dutch rider. And wearing number 24, Matisse van Kerkhoven from Belgium. It does look like we're starting to get the makings of a select group with 69.8 to go. Defending champ in there, wearing number 1, Albert Philipson from Denmark. You can see the riders just trying to encourage each other.
This is big. He was tailed off. He was the only rider left for Denmark. And I said when he was with Christoph there that he needs to try and get back, and he is getting back. And this is big for Philipson because it's still just under 70 kilometres to go. I still think he needs a little bit of help. He probably doesn't even realise his teammate is just behind and getting back on, such as there's no communication. But if I was Spain and the Netherlands, I'd be really kind of looking at the numerical advantage of having 2 riders here to maybe trying to kind of do something.
Albert Philipson goes on the attack, has a glance back under the armpit just to see if he's doing any damage. So the Netherlands, they're saying they've got 3. I can only see 2 orange jerseys in this group. Were you with me on that one? I'm not.
Yeah,
you can't really miss them, can you? Very much.
We don't have to go to Specsavers as yet. But this is what Philipson's trying to do. He realises, well, he probably doesn't know that his teammate is behind. That he doesn't want to be attacked. He's already seen Finn and Alvarez try to do something. He knows that there's few is here with the multiples. He doesn't want to be wait to attack. He wants to make the selection. He would rather it be, a smaller group, about 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1 against 1, rather than have the multiples. That's what he's worried about too much. So, France happy to roll along here. Philipson doing a little bit, but I'm really not surprised. All these passengers here, because they realize, the big favourites here. I'm just waiting for the likes of kind of Spain and the Netherlands to try again.
Yeah, Spain looking very active here. Alvarez definitely looks like he wants to try and get away in this one if he can. Philipson just dropping back down through the group. And our rider here from Poland's been very, very active throughout this one. And this is, as a junior, Brian, as well, you come into races and it is learning when you are feeling good, when to just save it, isn't it? You want to be flying in the final 200 meters as well. Now he's made the shakedown. He's in this position. You just got to be a little bit mindful of just overusing the energy earlier on in this one when you don't need to. .8 kilometers to go. Our junior men dealing with the tough conditions, and it's our Polish rider who has been super active throughout this race, Patrick Gosciarny, going on the attack here, trying to get clear with 69.8 kilometers to go. Silver medal in this year's last year's Polish national road champs, bronze in this year's championships. Impressive rider, Brian.
Yes, obviously feels good. Good off to the development team on Fisma Lisa bike for the next couple of years. You can clearly see that with his bike and helmet that he's got. But yeah, he just wants to try and kind of prize a few riders across and not any of the kind of danger of the French riders.
No, if he can get clear without the defending champ or our French rider. And it is Marisa Van Kerkhove, the rider from Belgium, that's gone with him. Alvarez going back for a feed to the team car. You always got to be careful in this situation as well. Just having to drop too far off the group. Journey swings off, looks around at the group. Paul Sextas of France. Are we starting to see a little stealthy move here from the Frenchman? He's got one teammate in there in Oban Sparfell. It's a good situation for the French to be in. And it looks like the Dane has got back on here, Anton Lauer Larsen. So Anton Lauer Larsen has got back in.
And so is Ashlyn Barry, sorry.
Yeah, I could see the Americans got back in there as well. Ashlyn Barry has got back onto the group. So a bit of a enough pause there for them to get back in. And that will be as well for the defending champion here on the front. For Lau Larsen, just getting up towards the front to just let his teammate know that he's back.
Yeah, important that happens. We have got a few multiples. Does look as if Sexas has, he's quite happy with his teammate to go to the frontier. He's quite happy with the Sparfell to do a little bit of riding. The closer we get to the kind of last lap and the finish, the better it is for them. It doesn't look as if they want, the tactical play out. They don't want riders to attack and then being on the back foot. I think that has to come from the likes of Spain, the Netherlands. It has to come from them because, the closer we get to the finish and Philipsen, and he's doing the same as he did the lap before. This is where he came to the front. He realises, to say that again, he done his homework, so he comes to the front in this kind of technical descent. Look at a few lefts and rights, and then we're on to that 14% incline, and he's just going to stretch things out again. It's as if he's playing with them, Marty.
But we've also got to remember that he is one of the best mountain bike riders of his age group in the world as well. Last year coming in as World Junior champion in the mountain bike. Also decided to have a little mix in cyclocross over the winter as well. Did the Danish rider and took the World Junior, sorry if I can get my words out, took the World Junior XCO title in the cross-country Olympic before last year's World Road Championships and has just defended that again. So looking to add he's looking to add the mountain bike road double here as well, which is why we love watching him on a descent. It's like why we love watching the likes of Tom Pidcock on a descent as well.
Yeah, exactly that. And, it wasn't a huge effort there, but it's just safety in the descent and kind of making a small effort of the climb. That's conserving energy itself. Anybody behind, you see the two Dutch riders, they have to make a little bit more effort, taking a little bit more sting out them. So I wouldn't wait too long. If I was there, if I wasn't kind of one of the favourites, I'd be looking at opportunities here the whole time. You see his teammate just trying to come up because, Philipsen is propped on the front. His teammate, he's done a very good job. But like the Dutch just riding down the back here, take your opportunity before this long descent. Try and hope that, one or two riders come with you.
Sebastian Grindley still in there, but Paul Sexas now goes on the attack for France. 63.6 kilometres to go using this climb. And he's taking the Polish rider Patrick Goscioni with him. So going on the attack. So the team of France can try and do something here. Philipsen just moving through, just edging his way back through towards the front. Just on the back of the group here. Centre Remain, he's got Jürgen Sommeront just ahead of him.
Yeah, I think that move by Sextus knows that, he just made that small effort to get because he knew this long descent was coming, and that's where it kind of stretched out the last. So again, on rider thinking ahead here because look at the gap starting to open. So that small effort can have huge dividends come the bottom of this climb.
And indeed, Philipsen comes through towards the front, as we said, his descending prowess he's been using to good effect throughout this race so far. And you can see the riders on the back of the Jürgen Sommeront, just a couple of riders ahead of him. And just the rider here, Matisse van Kerkhove in the blue of Belgium, just sandwiched in between the two Dutchmen on the descent.
See, that's one thing that you have to learn as a young rider, and you have to learn it quite quickly, is, if you're feeling it, so many other riders feeling it in the group. But sometimes when you're not feeling as good, you tend to kind of hide down the back. But by being down the back, look at the difference, Marty. You're talking about, 200 metres? And look at the gaps that are having to be closed. So you're making more of an effort. Just by making that small effort over the top of that climb there to get good position on the descent means that, that, 10, 15 second effort, now you're making, 45 seconds to a minute effort now to try and come back.
Yeah, it's a burn, isn't it? They're going to need later on, and that's a way Albert Philipsen is riding on the front of the group. Just take the descent, take your own lines, take it at your own speed, and confident descending at the front from the defending champion, and then these guys get to the bottom and they've got to make that effort on the flat. You can see Zomeront just having to throw on the anchors, take a different line through that corner. So I don't mind good cyclocross rider as well. So Philipsen, defending champ on the front, Sexas, Pitska, there, Finn from Italy, Josh Cherney from Poland, also in there. But it's the 5 meters or so that Phillips has taken out of the riders. Look at Sexas, the way he's having to sprint to try and get back up here.
Well, it's definitely intelligent riding. Almost kind of watch and think, but he's on the front. But you know, he comes to the front in the descents. He's not really kind of pushing on. You can see here he's in control of it. You know, it's very intelligent riding from Phillips here. Just look, they were together at the top of that descent. 2 kilometres of the descent there, and see what's happening. The Dutch are on the back foot already.
So Lorenzo Finn on the attack now for Italy. Back over the shoulders. It could be a good time move here by Lorenzo Finn.
The only problem here, Marty, is he's on his own. He could do with someone else. He's committed to it, but he's not overly committed to it. He's just relaxed. He realises he went at a good time. Just unfortunate. You know, the Dutch were caught out at the back there. You know, they're recovering from the effort of coming back. The Spain have kind of sat back a little bit, just kind of half waiting for Alvarez. But more importantly for Phillips, his teammate is back, and Lou Larson is back, just riding kind of tempo at the front. So they won't be too worried about just one rider being at front. Oh, okay, it's a good one, the Italian, but they won't be panicking at this moment.
There goes Finn. A little move there by Lorenzo Finn. So Lorenzo Mark Finn on his own here. He's opened up a substantial gap here. As you said, Brian, he's on his own though. Would have wanted a rider to come with him if he could.
You're not going to give up when you're like this. I think it's a case of you just need to kind of settle down into your rhythm. Still 59 kilometres to go, and just hope that potentially there's some riders there may come across. So it's one of these situations. He chose his moments. He just has to ride within himself. Obviously, in this part of the course, that you know the Danish rider is just going to set tempo behind him. But if he can get to the bottom of the next climb through the finishing area, and he does have maybe 20 or 30 seconds, and the attacks do come, he'll find himself at the front of the race.
Well, so Lorenzo Finn, 17 years old, and I'm going to apologise because I think I was confusing Oban Sparfel and Paul Sexas. They're very similar in stature, the two French riders. They're both in here. They're wearing number 8 and number 9. Oban Sparfel is number 9. Paul Sexas, who's come through to the front, is wearing number 8. So it's the two French riders now that are on the front of the group, and it's the makeup of our group. So Beechka, Brindley, Halter, all in here. Alvarez has been quite quiet for a while. Number 11 here for Spain. We'll go back up towards the front of the group. Everyone just taking the opportunity here to grab a drink, grab a feed. Back to Lorenzo Finn at the front. Just pressing on here for Italy. And he's committed now though, Brian, isn't he? It's up to him now to see if bring the race to him.
Yeah, he just has to ride within him. Just, you know, he's in a good position. He probably won't know that he's been chased behind. It looks as if France and Denmark are chasing. So unfortunately, he finds himself in that situation. I think he just has to hope that he gets to the next climb with a small advantage. And then when we see maybe Phillips and a Sexas going on the attack, and I think we will, because there's absolutely no cooperation from the riders behind, a lot of passengers. I just think when we come onto the flat here that Spain may try and do something and force what Finland is doing for Italy, but that isn't the case. And unfortunately, I don't have a lot of hope for the kind of Dutch riders to be able to make the front group if they go on the attack.
It is Denmark on the front for our defending champion. We have 57 kilometers to go. Lorenzo Finn for Italy is our lone leader. Lorenzo Finn just tucking it down on the front here in our junior men's road race. So we go through with 53.7 kilometers. That's the end of our first big city loop. We'll then have 2 laps to go. Our chasing group still in there. Sebastian Grindley wearing 79 from Great Britain. 2 members of the team of the Netherlands. 1 Belgian in there as well. 2 from France, Oban Sparfal and Paul Sexas. 2 from Denmark, Anton Lauer Larsen, and defending champion Albert Philipsen. 2 from Spain, 2 Spanish riders, Hector Ares. We've also got in there as well, Adria Perica from Spain is also in the group. That's where we are. That's where our leader is. So you can see on this very flat section along the side of Lake Zurich, running back up towards the finish line. Going solo in this one now. Lorenzo Finn, 17 years old. Rides for the Grenke Auto Ada team. Has had a really successful season as Finn. He's the national junior road and time trial champion. Lauer Larsen on the front. Koszerny of Poland, then Philipsen, then Sparfel is the rider from France up towards the front. Blackboard just being shown here to Lorenzo Finn. 19 seconds is the gap from the Italian to the chasers behind. There's the Flamme Rouge that you can see just across the roads. That's the beauty of a circuit here. When we come round to a couple of laps time, that will be the 1 kilometre to go point.
I just get that feeling that a lot of these riders are, just waiting for the inevitable, and that's, the attack again from Albert Philipsen, because he's got his teammate on at front, just controlling things. The last thing he wanted was a group of 3 or 4 to go down the road. There's only one rider, and he's riding within himself. I think he did the right thing, and maybe a mistake from some of the other nations with multiples. But he's going to hit this climb with a small advantage, but I just don't think it's enough. I just wish that maybe a couple of other riders had gone with him, but that hasn't been the case.
Going through the line, he's going to see 2 laps to go this time. Lorenzo Finn driving on at the front. There's your 200 metres to go point to the line. Lauer Larsen of Denmark on the front of the group behind. Trying to get each other motivated here. Lorenzo Finn of Italy goes through the line with 2 laps to go this time. Remember, if you're watching us on the TV and you want to enjoy ad-free coverage, uninterrupted coverage, join us on Discovery Plus. Chasing group behind. Oban Sparfel leading through for France. Paul Fiechke of Germany. Bring through 2 representatives in there for the Netherlands. 1 rider in there for the USA in Ashlyn Barry. Did get dropped, got back in, and he's done the right thing here, Brian. He's been very quiet. Just recover, keep feeding, keep riding. Just be very stealth-like. Sit in that group and just play off everyone else. There's still plenty of this race to go.
Well, there's loads, 53 kilometres, but I've just got that feeling that we're going to see at the top of this climb again a much smaller group. Who's going to be in it? I think Sextus and Philipsen for sure, possibly with the Polish rider, but I think there'll be another selection at the top of this climb. like I say, it's a pity that maybe 2 or 3 riders didn't go with the Italian when he went. But there's a few riders in here that the inevitable is going to happen. They're sitting at the back. They're just waiting for this climb. They're trying to kind of save energy to get over the climb. But unfortunately, I think they should be in front of the kind of stronger guys, because when they start attacking it, I think it's going to be very difficult for the rest.
And Oban Sparfell here just showing his cyclocross skills. A little bunny hop as he's cornering there as well. So impressive skills from the Frenchman. Out with him for Mart. And then Alvarez, Hector Alvarez of Spain. The French rider and the Dane here. Be careful of just pulling the Spanish rider off the front. So 16 seconds from Lorenzo Finn to our chasing group here of 3. And you can see just getting warned of the corner, the paint on the road. French rider been active for quite a while. It's a perfect scenario for France. The way Oban Sparfell is just riding very, very animated. It means that Paul Sexas can just sit back, just keep, try and stay as quiet as he can within that group. There he is, just getting out of the saddle there, wearing number 8. So he's the other option here for the French team. And he can just watch Philipsen and the other riders in this group.
Yeah, he's the protected rider. That's what they said anyway from the start. Same with Philipsen. This is good from some of these riders here. Alvarez, we know from Spain, looking at the opportunities, but and the Polish rider at the back, Koserny, he's been trying over the last kind of lap or so, but he was just waiting for Philipsen. He's tried to close the gap at the moment. He's the rider in the second group in the red for Denmark, trying to kind of bring it all back together. He's got his teammate up here, however, but it's all for Philipsen today.
He's indeed out of that corner, and you can see defending champ Albert Philipsen on the front here for Denmark. Oban Sparfell just keeps every opportunity for France, just presses on. Little dig here, little dig there, pressing on the front. Philipsen just closing it down. We're going to hit this steep climb that we've got on the city circuit. And Philipsen's been giving it a couple of little digs throughout this one so far. Hector Alvarez has looked comfortable on the climbs. So he's not going to get any help here from the Dane. He's just trying to find his gears here. But Philipsen just gradually just dragging this group back up here. Looks around to Sexas to do some work here, the French rider. Back to our leader. Let's not forget Lorenzo Finn at the front. You can see just looking through the murk, looking through the gloom, the rain. The riders have dealt with absolutely brutal conditions here for the junior races, both the women and the men. Tough conditions that they've had to deal with. So still in there, Sebastian Grindley in the white with the blue shorts from Great Britain. Good. He's doing a great ride, Sebastian Grindley. Matisse Van Kerkhove just having an issue there, just having to accelerate to get back on.
He is doing a very good job, but I think things are going to change now. I think Philipsen, he doesn't want the Italian to go even further down the road. So Philipsen, he just slowly but surely came across that gap, just waiting to pounce now. I think, like I said before, he looks as if he's playing with them, and he'll want to accelerate. He'll want to look. I've had enough of everybody, sitting on the back. He wants to kind of shake things up and have an even smaller group at the top of this climb.
He does, and here he comes. Albert Philipsen on the front, and you can see Paul Sexas of France is trying to stay with him. Alvarez of Spain on the red bike, just digging in, gritting his teeth as the defending champ comes up to him. 22 seconds from our leader, Lorenzo Finn. Going clear on his own, takes a look back over the shoulder as we get to the top of the climb, a little right turn there. Philipsen looks around, sees who's still with him. Halter, unfortunately, just drifting off the back here for Switzerland, the home rider. So you can see that right turn, and then it kicks up yet again. The Halter flying the flag for those in Zurich today. Lorenzo Finn on the front. Now just taking in this descent.
Well, he's pacing it well. When he went at the right time. Maybe disappointed that he was on his own. Didn't really push out too much of an advantage. Just rode into the bottom of the climb. Make sure that he's taking a gel, taking a drink. He hit it with maybe about 13 seconds in advantage, and he's pushed out a little bit more. But for the group behind, that was a small acceleration from Philipson. He'll come down this descent and he'll go again in the kind of harder part of the climb, which is further up. But already he's shaking out, and that's what I said about the inevitable. The inevitable was that when Philipson and Sexa starts going, are you able to hang on? And only 3 riders have been able to do that.
So Lorenzo Finn of Italy leads from this chasing group. Paul Saxas swings off the front for France, and Remine of the Netherlands, defending champ, Albert Philipson. And this is the chasing group here. So just on the back, Jürgen Sommerom, Oban Sparfeld, Paul Fiechke is in there, Ashlyn Barry, Matisse van Kerkhove is still in the group, as well as Patrick Goscioni, as Nicholas Halter gets back on to the group for Switzerland. He's waiting for them to come up to him, really, isn't he?
This is a mature ride. He's just riding steadily, just cleaning the glasses there. He knows that the race isn't now for him. He was committed, so he had to kind of keep it going. He never went really deep. He's ridden that climb just at his own pace, at a good pace. He knows he's had a look around. He's intelligent enough to do that. He knows that they're coming behind. They're coming faster, and that means that they're having to try harder. So I think the Italian, like you say, is riding a very good race here.
He is. It's an interesting way to look, because he's just taken the course in his stride, and it's not eyeballs out. You can see at the front, as you said, Brian, taking a feed, taking a drink, taking a gel, taking the descents in his stride, pacing himself well on the climbs here. He's holding 17 seconds. And it's that old scenario, isn't it, of letting the race come to you, in essence.
Yeah, he could have ruined himself if he went flat out and got 30 or 40 seconds. He knows that he has to conserve something. This is a very hard course. This is the second time up this climb. We've got a further time up here as well. We do 3 laps around the city circuit. He's in with a shout with definitely a medal by the looks of things. And, he wants the others to chase that a little bit harder to come up to him. So, Philipson, Sexas, Alvarez, Remine and Grinley are here. And you have to say that Grinley's doing a very good job for Great Britain here.
Indeed, this is our chasing group. Kerkhove, Pete Barry in there, back to our chasing group. So, Alvarez of Spain, Sexas of France, Remine of Netherlands, Philipson, Grinley to the group behind. So that head-on camera shot there does foreshorten the gap as we look at it. So then Sexas Alvarez or Remine. I don't mind another talented cyclocross rider we've seen in Junior World Cross champs as well in the past. And Finn knows this week is coming. He knows that trying to ride this one solo for 50 kilometers is not what he wants to do, but he'll be in the shakedown when it's happening behind him.
Yeah, he wants to just go over the top, really, of this climb. Possibly just get caught over the top. You can see another reaction from the group behind. They're having to make a big effort to close this small gap. I know it's only around about 30 seconds that they can see them, but I think in the back of their minds, they know that the race is in front. It does look as if, the medals are going to come from the group of 5 plus Finn in front, so you're going to have 6 riders, 3 medals. But a very mature ride here from Lorenzo Finn. Doing a very good job. Okay, he's put a little bit. You still have to try hard, but just don't go too deep.
out of the saddle. The chasing group behind it are going to come back up to him. And he said he wants to get over the top of the climb. And if you can, you just see the cars. Hear the cars beeping the horns. The Italians are out in force as always along the side.
So what do you think of this city lap, Marty?
It's going to be, I was literally thinking as going through my mind, I was going to ask you the same question. It's brutal, isn't it? Yeah. It's going to be absolutely savage this weekend. For we've got the under 23 men to come. We've got the elite women and the elite men's race. It's going to be. Anyone that wins the world title is a deserving winner. But this is definitely up there, isn't it?
It's after the finish line that you get that kind of steep and you get this long trick. It's relentless, and then you've got that kind of tricky descent with the 14%er. I'm thinking of the conditions don't change. Of course, I'm only covering the junior women's morning and the junior. I'm looking forward to watching them, the 23, and especially the elite women and men's this weekend. But obviously, those races are a few more laps. In these conditions, I just think it's, they're talking about, covered the, racing recently with Matthew van der Poel in Luxembourg about his opportunities to try. This is hard. I think this is harder, much harder than Scotland last year in Glasgow. I think it's going to be brutal, and if the weather conditions are like this, I think it should be completely carnage in the next few races. Riders everywhere. But like I said right from the start, from the women junior race this morning, Marty, the strongest riders were 2 of the 4, and it's the same can be said about this race as well. Definitely, it is. And if you are lining up, don't forget you can watch them all live here on Discovery Plus. And you're not going to want to miss any of it. Trust me. 46.5 kilometers to go. Lorenzo Finn on this descent. And this shot here, Brian, just gives us a really good idea of just how steep these descents are. We talk about the climbs as well. And if it is going to be, if the weather is going to be like this at all, I'll have another look at the weather, but it just makes this course even more, because there's that heightened stress, isn't there? I mean, you've been in world championships and the biggest races. It's that heightened stress, isn't it? And the effect that it has on your heart rate, and this sort of physiologic it's a lot more fatiguing as well. You're dealing with the weather as well. In the elite races, you're talking about traditionally, especially in the men's, which I've experienced that, you ride the first few laps, just getting into things, just nice and relaxed. You can ride down the back, it's not a problem. There's a bit of tempo about it. The breakaway goes away. You can forget about that in this race. You don't want to be riding anywhere near the back. No, not at all. If you're with us on TV, you're off for a short break. This chasing groups, Farfel, Barry, Kashani, Zomran, Pichka, Halter, still in this chasing group. 17 seconds from Finn to the chasers, 59 seconds to this group. Baricate of Spain is the rider that's on the front. He's got his teammates. Hector Alvarez, who's in that leading group. Kashani of Poland. I've been impressed with him today. We're going to keep an eye on him for years to come. Yeah, definitely. A rider of the future, maybe making a few mistakes, a little bit like the Dutch rider this morning, just making the efforts at the wrong time. But, of course, these races are all for learning. A little note in the bottle there for Lorenzo Finn. Just having a little look at the note and going past the feed zone. Oh, this was trying to grab a bottle. Sexas didn't get it. Christ goes for the second one. Misses the second one, unfortunately. So Greenleaf just trying to grab one. He gets his. You can see the bottles with the gel in them. So the French rider missing 2 of the bottles there. Did he manage to get one at the end? So there's your chasers. Philip and Sexas, Alvarez, Renline and Grindley is the makeup of this group. Denmark, France, Spain, Netherlands, and Great Britain are in this group. The neutral service car drops in behind them.
Our chasing group, 44.3 kilometers to go. Lorenzo Finn of Italy is our lone leader. He is leading a chasing group at 22 seconds off. Sebastian Grindley from Great Britain, Albert Philipsen of Denmark, Senna Bremijn of the Netherlands, Paul Sexas of France, and Hector Alvarez of Spain. He's been waiting for them to catch him, Brian, hasn't he, for ages, for anyone that's just tuning in. But he's just keeping a nice rhythm and keeping a nice tempo on his own. He's just controlling his ride here.
Yeah, it's like he's looking back at them and going, come on, chase me, chase me. But you can see that he's riding, you know, within himself. It's not flat out. It's just the other ones are, again, not kind of closing this gap. But, you know, to be alone here, not expending too much energy, it's an ideal situation for the moment anyway.
Our leader, Lorenzo Finn of Italy, 43.9 kilometers to go. That's where he is on the course. You can see there's this sort of lumpy plateau, lots of little short, sharp climbs, short descents, and then that fast descent back down towards the finish. There's then that little climb that you can see there as well. There's some of that on the final lap comes with about 5 kilometers to go. Our lone leader, Lorenzo Finn, has been waiting for the chasing group to catch him for quite a while, but he's keeping his steady rhythm and tempo, just time trialing his way along. Here is the Italian junior road and time trial champion, and at the moment they haven't come back to him. We are on the second of our 3 city loops. We're going to go through the line with 27.2 kilometers to go. And then we will get the bell, and it will be 1 lap to go. This chasing group, they want the world title and the rainbow jersey. They need to bring back Lorenzo Finn. They've also here, Brian, as these kilometres tick on, they can't underestimate Lorenzo Finn riding solo here in this one, the way he's going, because he's controlled his ride so maturely, for want of a better word. He's not been eyeballs out, but if he gets to the point with you might say through the line, still with that gap, what would you be telling him to do as his team manager?
Just keep on doing. Of course, there's no communication, but if there was, just keep doing what he's doing. I really do think that, you know, the 3 riders of Grindley, Remain and Alvarez are just, they're not overly committing because they're with 2 of the main favourites, Sixes and Philipsen, and I think they're both looking at each other. And I think that's why the gap isn't closing that quickly, because there's a bit of respect there, especially between the 2 kind of main contenders. But the other 3, they're just doing enough to stay there and not do too much, and they're kind of trying to kind of save a little bit for the last lap here. And that's why the gap isn't coming down. So I think it's a little bit easier, and especially in this circuit, to be in front, doing that kind of time trial effort, that just and trying to kind of save a little bit where you can, rather than having to kind of chase. So I think he's doing a very good job. Don't think he'll stay away to the finish, but putting himself right in there for you know, a potential medal.
Our chasing group, you can see here, just getting a rain jacket on. Back to our leader, Lorenzo Finn of Italy. He's had a really successful season as the Italian. He started his victories off. Started the year with a time trial. Always good to start your year with a time trial. Won that one. Some trips out to Belgium. One that was part of the TTT in the Eroica Junior Nations Cup race. Some domestic races, the Val di Soligo Juniors race before the Nationals, where he doubled up, took the road and the time trial title there. 3rd in the Valromi Junior stage race. 5 days in total was that one. Then on to the Obel Stavelot Juniors race, where he took a stage in that, took the points and the general classification. And then the Giro Lunigiana down in Italy, took stage win and 2nd on general classification in that one before heading up to European Championships, where he finished 75th, but clearly the way his season's panned out here, Brian, and the way he's brought the form on, it's been all for these Championships, looking at the way he's riding now.
Yeah, 100%. Good to see that that's the case, but, we're talking about, our leader, the Italian, just, riding conservatively. I think this chasing group also riding conservatively. They know that they're in with a chance now, especially if you're not Philipsen and Sexas, the two kind of main favourites. Ramin and Alvarez and Grindley are starting to think to themselves, right, we've made the selection. How do we try and get a medal today? And you can see that they're just slowly but surely just, doing their turn at the front without kind of pushing too hard. But the looks of things, Marty, these conditions are getting worse. We just saw the French rider there put on his rain jacket.
Yeah, it's quite a heavy rain jacket as well. So clearly the cold, the chill, it gets into your bones sometimes, doesn't it, on a day like this, for want of a better phrase.
Well, it's better to be able to race at the frontier. I think the French rider, knowing that Sexas is there. So for Sparfell, I think he's been doing a lot of hard racing. Now that he's just kind of sitting on this chasing group, I think he's getting a little bit chilly.
Yeah, job done. He's been impressive today, Oban Sparfell. Did exactly the ride. If the team ride, as you would expect, would just advise him, just look after Sexas, control the race, and just make sure he's in the right position when he needs to be. It's been job done for him today. It's definitely been an impressive ride from Oban Sparfell. Next climb on the course here for Lorenzo Finn of Italy, our lone leader. The gap, though, just coming down a touch, 19 seconds, and then they're going to get the belt when they come through the line this time. So we can expect a few fireworks, I think, coming on the next sets of climbs, and also on the descents, Brian, because we look at the way Philipsen's ridden the descents throughout this race. It may well, have a look on the descent as well. They've got to be mindful of his descending skills.
Definitely, and when you look at the average of the pace of the race so far, 43 kilometres an hour, it says a lot. That's why it's been kind of very nervy from the start. It's we talk about Denmark and that person crossing in front, irrelevant of this being a world championship or not. He probably does that every day. But the thing is, we talked about Denmark, burning their candles very early. It was for this reason. It was to make sure that Philipsen was in with a chance of winning again. And he is. So you have to say that they've done a good job. They've used up their pretty much whole team in the start of this race to make sure he wasn't involved with any crashes or anything like that. But slowly but surely they're getting closer. But I really do think now that we're on this, I think this is Philipsen descent coming up soon, where he always goes to the front. He always kind of pushes it, goes up the 14 percenter, and then over the top, and then onto that long descent. And he does have the confidence to go down this descent and pull back some time.
And that's what he's doing. You can see, as we said, Philipsen, they had to be mindful of him on the descents, and that's what he's doing. It's Philipsen, Alvarez, Grindley, Remine and Sexas here. Senna Remine just swings out, trying to get the Frenchman to come through. "13 seconds the gap." So Philipsen just bringing it down on the descent. Our chasing group behind. Teammate of Sexas on the back here. Oban Sparfell. Matisse van Kerkhove just ahead of him. Ashlyn Barry, looks like Brian's decided to try and get clear of this chasing group if he can. Back to our leader. Lorenzo Finn just able to choose his own lines on the descent. See, just through these steep corners, the way the bike follows just does this. It's unusual for when you're following a race that it does the kicks of the climbs and the descents justice here. The way that one just rears up in front of them.
Yeah, this is a very tricky part of the course. and that's why they've got the pads up here. Again, the Dutch rider sitting, just make that effort and, you know, maybe sit in Philipson's wheel instead of, you know, last wheel. Gaps are opening. You just have to go up this climb a little bit more, 14%, when you have to go up half a kilometre or a kilometre faster than the others. It does hurt.
And it is hurting. Paul Sexas is getting distance here, and Hector Alvarez flicks the elbow. We are caught at the front. Lorenzo Finn, but the race has come to him. Sexas and Remine getting dropped here. Senna Remine in the orange of the Netherlands. The two riders, as the pace went up, Remine was looking to the Frenchman to come through and try and close it down. And unfortunately, at the moment, the Frenchman getting dropped from this leading group.
See, a lot of that was down to just poor positioning. That was as simple as that. If you don't feel good, you don't have the legs. It's always better to start at the front. You know, have that little bit of a kind of drift room. But both of them gave them no options at all, and no surprise that, you know, they really are feeling it. But finish, because I think Grindley doing a fantastic job here for Great Britain. You know, kind of not really going to miss too much, just doing enough. It's the same for Alvarez. Let the others do a little bit more. This is for Peloton. I'm sure, because we're now onto this quick end. Philipson is at the front. You realise that one of his main rivals is just behind, so he's going to push on. We all know he can go down this descent very quickly. And I think this gap is going to open, Martin.
Yeah, looks like it. And the three companions on this one living a charmed life here with the descending skills of Albert Philipson on display here, the defending champ. Can he drag this group clear? It looks like he can, because he's getting rid of one of his biggest rivals in Paul Sexas of France. You see Ashlyn Barry just taking clear with him Jürgen Sommeront out of this chasing group behind. So the other rider in there looks like back to the front. This is where Philipson has been putting those skills on display. There's confirmation of your group. Denmark, Spain, Italy, and Great Britain at the front. Philipson on the descent, giving the motorbike outrider a heart attack in the speed that he's taking this descent in the wet. Grindley's got to be careful as well here, Brian. You've got to just feel the fear and do it anyway, isn't it, in this position?
You just have to, have the confidence in the riders in front of you. That, just give them that little bit of breathing space, not too much. The last thing you want to be doing now is, having to kind of chase back, because you chase back, we get to the bottom of this descent, you've got a small drag, and then we're soon on to the finishing line and then up the next climb. So, and this came down to not having the legs to climb up. It was the fact that they kind of lost it a little bit in that kind of tricky descent. I have to call it the Philipson descent, because that's where he comes to the front on every lap and really makes a difference.
They're going to probably, if he wins this, they'll probably rename it afterwards. I think, given how well he's descended so far today, or maybe he'll get one back home in Denmark. You never know. But it's been impressive. It is always great to see someone just executing their craft as perfectly and so relaxed on the descent as he has today. You just see Journey there, just taking a slightly different line to Nicholas Halter on the descent. Look at the water, though, on the ground. The riders are dealing with on the ground, Brian. The surface water, as you said, these conditions have just got worse and worse as the afternoon's gone on.
Yeah, horrendous conditions. We've got 4 here at the front. We've got 2 chasing behind about 16 seconds, so 23 now. And then 138, we've got a group of 8 riders. That's how hard these conditions in this race has been. We're averaging just a tad over 43 kilometres an hour, purely because of the speed at the start, because of the nervousness nature of it. So, this definitely, like this morning, will produce the strongest rider in the race, and I'm sure that the elites is going to be exactly the same.
So I'm looking back through the previous results, just looking at our nations. at the front. So our last Danish winner, of course, was last year. Our defending champion is in this group. The last Italian winner I can see 2007 was our last Italian winner. Our last Spanish winner, I'm looking at Miguel Moras back in 1994 for them. And I never had a British junior men's winner of the road race. If we go back with the race starting in 1975.
Yeah, that's right. I rode it in 1985. I think was it Dave Rayner was up there in the group sprinting out with Cipollini. He finished fourth. I think he finished just outside the top 10, did Dave? But yeah, it's, you know, there's a few nations here thinking of glory. I really do think that Philipsen, before about the favourite this morning, came to the fore, and I think Philipsen is in the driving seat to win this race again.
Chasers Paul Sepsas coming into this with a lot of pressure on his shoulders. The man in the red, white and blue here of France, a lot of pressure on his shoulders coming into this one. And it has been, I mean, it's been pretty much on since the start, Brian, for anyone that's just tuning in this afternoon with 32.1 kilometres to go. The conditions have got worse and worse as the day's gone on. The severity of the course that the riders have been dealing with. We had a lot of crashes earlier on, didn't we, with a big bunch starting of 158 riders that kicked things off. So, yeah, it's been a tough day out in the saddle for the likes of Paul Sepsas, coming in with an awful lot of pressure on the shoulders after a time trial win. 31.8 kilometres to go, 32 seconds now is the gap from our leaders to our chasers. Minute and 58 to the next group on the roads.
Well, you can see that the neutral service and commissaire car are moving past, and you know that's always a kind of telltale sign that they think that, you know, the gap's big enough that they aren't coming back. Is to make sure that the commissaire and neutral service are in the group in front. That's the thing I was always worried about when they announced the Glasgow Worlds, that the circuit, because I know Glasgow pretty well, that's, you know, in the rainy conditions it was always going to be very, very dangerous. And I think they said same could be said about here, that, you know, it's treacherous conditions, slippy conditions. Everybody knows that, and that's why we saw them kind of race quite hard very early on. You know, one thing that sticks at the back of my mind is the elite race when they came flying onto the Glasgow circuit. I think it was a Danish team that came on, and it was like a bat out of hell. And no sooner that it just kind of completely broke up. So I think in the elite race on Sunday, that could be the same. It could be a full-on race, you know, onto these circuits to get good positioning, because it's going to be horrendous, especially if the weather's like, I don't know what the weather's going to be like in Zurich over the next few days, but this is going to be a tough call for everybody today. But our race favourite is still in this front group of A4.
Indeed, 30.4 kilometres to go. Friday is looking fairly good through the day. Saturday, the forecast for Zurich at the moment is for rain. And for Sunday as well, it looks fairly dry on Sunday at the moment. But that's just a rough weather forecast at the moment, the long range for the weekend. 30 kilometres to go. Welcome back if you're rejoining us on the TV. We are 29.8 kilometres to go here in our junior men's road race, and a group of four fighting out for one gold medal and one rainbow jersey, silver and bronze medals. Will they come to the finish together? The group is made up of Denmark's Albert Philipsen, the defending champion, on the front here in the red and white of Denmark. Behind him, looking to maybe do some history for Great Britain, is Sebastian Grindley. We've not had a British junior men's winner of this road race. We have also in that group Lorenzo Finn of Italy, and as well Also in the group is Hector Alvarez of Spain. So quite a select group. So 4 riders left now. These Paul Sexas and Senna Remine were also in that leading group, distanced under the pressure of Philipsen. But we are going to go through the finish line with 1 lap to go and take in our final circuit here in Zurich today.
Well, if you're living in Britain, we've got, of the 4 in front, we've got 1.5 chances of celebrating, Marty. We know that Sebastian Grindley is, 100% British, but with a name like Finn, it's not a traditional Italian name, and I believe that his dad's from Sheffield. So we're going to grab that either way, Marty.
We are. I was trying to. Do you know what? I was searching around to try and find that out. Thank you for whoever got in touch with Brian as well. And it is sometimes as the juniors, families and people get in touch with us throughout the race because we do as much. So the juniors are not always the easiest riders to find out exactly all their details. So we'll take a 50% of that one. So Lorenzo Mark Finn.
50% Sheffield Steel.
There you go, definitely. And I'm sure as well, coming from Sheffield, it's always a good opportunity to shout out our friends at the Proper Northern Road Race Series as well, because I'm sure, and maybe he's been over to have a go at them at some point, because these are proper northern conditions, aren't they, given a Sheffield connection there. So Great Britain. Italy, 50% of Italy. We claim anything, don't we, as Brits? Italy in the blue, Lorenzo Martin, Hector Alvarez, and Albert Philipsen. They're going to come through the line here with 1 lap to go. 4 riders fighting it out for the 3 podium positions in this one. Great to see Sebastian Grindley. Grindley did get distance a little bit, so he's really ridden well into this race, Sebastian Grindley, for me, in the way he's recovered and got into this group. He's definitely someone that's just, the conditions seem to have just suited him as the day's gone on.
He has ridden himself into the race, no doubt about that. Good to see him in the front of 4, coming up to take the bell. It's just in the minds of all the riders, apart from Philipsen, is, when is he going to make his move, and do have the legs to go with him?
1 lap to go, 1 final circuit here in Zurich. Senna Remine and Paul Sexas are our chasers. They were in that group, and it looks like Senna Remine now has just started to recover a little bit. And sometimes it's just the case, isn't it, Brian? When that attack goes, you're just not able to, as Jeremy Powers always says, you're not able to bail the water out of the boat quick enough, and it takes you a while just to recover. You just are going deeper than you can go.
It's one of these situations, Marty, that maybe if you're not feeling good a lot of the time, especially when you're young, you just want to kind of sit on the back, try and recover at the back. But in this course, you can't. If you're not feeling as good, you should be making a little bit more small efforts so that you don't have to make big efforts. And it was, coming on to this, descent, that they made a bit of a mistake. They let the wheel go, having to make a bit more of a concerted effort, and that was enough to send them out the back. And okay, they're only about 30 seconds back, but that's going to be enough. A race winner is going to come from the 4 in front, but as Phillips said, done too much. What is Alvarez, who's ridden well today? Finn, he's ridden quite steadily, although he was on his own for about half a lap there. So, what's he got left? But Grindley will grin and bear it and try and kind of hang in there and take a medal for the UK.
Indeed, 1 lap to go for our chasers. Back to our leading group, and Sebastian Grindley's doing the right thing, you would say here, Brian. He knows that Philipsen potentially is going to go on this climb. He's just going to sit on the back here and just letting those riders just slot in front of him.
Well, like you say, he can afford to do that. He's, he knows there's other riders here with, bigger results. You got double Italian champion, half from Sheffield. Alvarez, you can see Alvarez and Philipsen, where they're going next year with a legal track. So he can afford to kind of play the game a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Sebastian Grindley's had a good successful season, sort of domestically as well, back home in Great Britain. Tour of the Mendips, Junior Tour of Wales that he also won a stage and the overall of the Junior Tour of Wales. I remember riding that when I was a junior. It's one of my favourite races of the season. Was the Junior Tour of Wales. He won the stage of the Tour of the Northwest as well. Cam's Yorkshire Classic, the St Martin's Prize Juniors race. He won a stage and the points, second on GC, and that one, 18 years old, is the British rider. And perhaps as well, you know, looking at the rest of this group, they may be one because they might not have seen Sebastian Grindley so much sort of out there amongst the races, the other races that they've done, the ones we mentioned that Lorenzo Finn has been doing this year. So they may be a little bit mindful of him being a bit of an unknown quantity here. He can play on that.
He can do, but possibly not on this climb. I think Grindley's best opportunity is just to do a little bit what Finn did in the lap previously. Just stay with it. Possibly, if I was him, I know it's hard. Either you try and save everything you can and try and stay with them, or you risk it. Right, and there's 4 here, so who's going to risk it? Grindley decides to do it, then just stay with them over the steep part of this climb, the first part. On the next descent, just try and do something, even if you got 10, 15 seconds. When and if and when Philipsen goes in the second part, the kind of long, draggy part, if you get 10, 15 seconds, you could possibly get caught by him and kind of hang in there. So it's all down to how Sebastian Grindley is feeling and what he wants to do. Do you kind of hang on and risk it, Marty, or do you risk it big and aim big? And I would probably be the latter. I would love to see him hang on in this deep part, and then the next part, just try and do what Finn did in the lap previously. Just try and kind of chip off, and hopefully they'll look at each other and look at Philipsen to do all the chasing.
Definitely. 24.3 to go. We're in the steep climb in Zurich. And there's a short, sharp descent, then the long, draggy climb that the riders have to deal with. Albert Philipsen just choosing to sit on the front here, Brian. He looks like he's just going to try and ride away from the front. I'm surprised. Yeah. I thought he'd drop back and try and hit them big.
No, he's not deciding to do that. He's keeping the pressure on. Grindley has to try and hang in there, and it doesn't look as he's able to do that. So Philipsen, he's done this every lap in this climb, just put the pressure on, and he really is putting the pressure on. But Grindley, if he can just hang in there and come back over the top of this climb and go straight past, but by the looks of things, the legs have gone.
Oh, ahead goes Sebastian Grindley. Great ride, though, but this changes the scenario of this race considerably because we now have 3 medal positions at the front, and Philipsen has, as Brian said, every lap done this job, and now Alvarez starts to crack. Philipsen rides 2 of the group off the wheel here, and Alvarez has just got to dig in. He's got to dig deeper than he's ever dug before here to try and just limit his losses. Finn from Italy is still with the Danish rider. Alvarez just got to shift through the gears here, Brian. Finn and Philipsen have just got to have a word with each other. You saw Philipsen just look across at Finn, and they've got to try and get clear. We'll see if Alvarez can get back on.
Well, Philipsen was clearly wanting to go alone there, and that wasn't happening. If I was Alvarez here, he knows he's not got the legs. Even if Philipsen goes again in this next long drag, and I'm pretty sure he's down. He's down.
Oh, no, disaster. Absolute disaster for the Danish rider on the descent, and as we've been talking about his descending skills throughout the day today. But the big news, Albert Philipsen, the defending champion on the descent, has crashed, and that leaves Italy's Lorenzo Finn at the front solo. Hector Alvarez will look at the Dane. We'll see if Philipsen can get back up and chase to get back to those leaders. But this race, and that is bike racing, it flips on a knife edge, and here in the World Championships it does just that. And oh no, disaster. Philipsen is down and he is hurt. We never want to see that, and especially when the riders here racing for a world championship. That is such a shame, Brian. His race has been pitch perfect from start to 22.5K to go here.
Yeah, we've been saying this all along, that just get him to the finish. You have to get to the finish. Unfortunately, just slipping out there and coming down too heavy. I was hoping that he would remount and try and get back, but when I saw him lying there, he's out, completely out. So, it's down to these two riders. Grindley can't be that far away. But as you said, not putting anything wrong. All the ducks were lined up for another win for Philipson in my mind. He looked super strong. He was instigating everything, but just a slip out there and race is over. It's heartbreaking for the Danish rider.
Two leaders, Italy and Spain. Absolute heartbreak here in the Junior Men's World Road Race Championships with our defending champion, Albert Philipson. Him and his team have been absolutely perfect throughout the day today. The team car is with him. They're just getting a bike off the roof, and you really have to feel for him. He's ridden an absolutely majestic race today. But now our attention shifts to the title, and Alvarez not coming through with Finn here at the moment.
No, because he realises that Finn is that bit stronger. For Alvarez to try and win this, he needs to get over this long drag. And that's what he's doing. He's playing the game. Finn clearly wasn't giving everything, and we thought that anyway in the lap previously when he was on his own. He is the strongest of the two, but as Alvarez just questioning him, you're stronger than me. If you attack me in this climb, you might drop me, and I'm trying to win the world title. But I know we've got really rainy conditions, but Philipson crashing out there in this last lap has really put a dampener in this race for me. But just park that to the side, because he did nothing wrong. But now just look at, two riders. Grindley, where is he? He cannot be that far behind. Can he get up to these two? We saw a glance round there by Finn and Alvarez, but yeah, we're going to see an exciting final and a new nation winning this championship.
It is, and as you say, it does. It puts a damper on it. But we've got to focus on the two riders at the front. Hopefully, Albert Philipson is okay. We come down to quite a battle, and what a race it has been. It has been a drama-filled day here in the World Road Race Championships, and really deserving riders at the head of the race in Lorenzo Finn of Italy and Hector Alvarez of Spain. Where is Sebastian Grindley in the background? Senna Romain is also solo behind. We'll just have a little listen. See, yeah,
just play the game. There's nothing you can do. Finn is stronger. He looks more of a kind of mountain goat than Alvarez. And I think all Alvarez wants to do is get over this climb. This is the hardest part, the big acceleration. And that's the answer.
There you have it. Lorenzo Finn from the front puts the hammer down and attacks clear. And Hector Alvarez clearly was right on his limit. And the Italian goes solo.
But that's the thing, Marty. You can talk about it, you can argue about it, but when it comes down to it, let the arguing be done by your legs. That's it. So forget about the arguing and talking to each other. It was clear that Alvarez wasn't as good as Finn, and then he just went and drove it there. He just put the accelerator on, went alone, and you have to say that lap earlier when he was just on his own, just kind of dangling out there, he did the right thing, and I think we both said he's doing a mature job. I just want to know what's happening behind, because Alvarez will still be in silver medal position, but where is the other medal going, Marty?
It is indeed. Lorenzo Finn, 20.5 kilometers to go here for the Italian. So driving on here at the front. So Lorenzo Mark Finn from Italy.
Still 20 kilometers to go.
There is. It's just drama everywhere. Minute and 3 is the gap to Group 3. We need a few of the bikes in between to just give us an idea of where everyone is. He's on his own. We've still got 20 kilometers to go here. It's now about the time trial for Lorenzo Finn, Italian junior time trial champion. He's got to put the time trial of his life in here. Hector Alvarez might be getting some company very soon. There's Lorenzo Finn just riding clear, just going through the barriers at the top. This has still got plenty of time to completely change yet again, Brian.
It has, but I think by the looks of things, Finn has done a very good job here. The only way that he's going to be brought back is if Grinley and Remain get together and you've got a fighting force of 3 riders. And even if you've got 3 riders going for 2 medals, I doubt they'll give 100% to bring this rider back. In my mind, unfortunately for the race in Philipson, because it will always be kind of in the back of everybody's mind, what if. But I have to say that this Italian rider, okay, half English from Sheffield, he's done a very, very good and mature job. He didn't get carried away when he was on his own. He just rode within himself and could be on his way to the first Italian junior title here.
Yeah, it's quite a ride from Lorenzo Finn. We said in terms of last Italian winners, so 2007 with Diego Ulisi. That was our last. He did the double, Diego Ulisi. We had Damiano Cunego in 1999. Benja D'Amore, Valentino China, Giuseppe Palumbo won it. And our first winner in 1975, Roberto Vicentini from Italy.
This will be the first Italian one of these championships.
Yeah, it is quite a ride, isn't it?
And that's big for the Italians. That's huge for the Italians.
And the road titles as well is what they really as well, isn't it? No disrespect to the time trial. The road title is what they want in these races.
Just looking here, there could be, there could be a medal up for grabs for some of these riders now. Just look as if the riders in front, not that far away. Remain of the Netherlands, not that far away. I just want to know, obviously, as a Brit, to know where Grinley is. Is he kind of hanging on to that kind of bronze medal position? Is he going to be kind of swept up by some of the other riders? Alvarez, well, he's in no man's land, sitting in the silver medal position.
This is a lonely ride as well, especially if you feel like you've kind of hit the wall, which is kind of way intimated to Lorenzo Finn that he was really struggling. He's looking back over the shoulder just to see where the riders are behind. 45 seconds now is the gap for Lorenzo Finn. 140, so it looks like the gap to our next chaser. There's the gaps on our screen. So 500 meters, another 500 meters, another K back to them. K and a half between them. This is, we go back to Senna Remain here. He's got a bike with him. So we didn't see Senna pass Sebastian Grindley. That's the rider that we're watching out for as well. If you're just tuning in, we have had absolute heartbreak on the descent for the defending champion Albert Philipsen of Denmark, who has not put a foot wrong at all in this race so far, going down on a descent. And the cameras, each time we went past Albert Philipsen, was still down. So we really hope that he's okay. As we always say, we never speculate, just check in with the teams. The team of Denmark, I'm sure, will update you on the progress and what happens. We'll see if he has managed to get back and up on the bike. This man here, though, one of the riders of the race, going clear on his own, was clear for quite a while. Lorenzo Finn of Italy just sees that whiteboard. And this is the scenario here, Brian, is the fact that there's no radio communication, and this race has just exploded in every single way, and riders knowing where everyone is along the course, and if there's a medal up for grabs. As Lorenzo Finn powers around this circuit, there's going to be a lot of very animated team staff in the pits as we go past, trying to relay information to their riders in those groups.
Well, the team cars are there and thereabouts, but you know, we're only seeing the race leader in silver medal position, and he's concerned about what's happening behind him. So that's clear that he knows that the gold medal's gone. He is not riding flat out. I think he's going to be caught soon, because from that look there and that, you know, swig of the bidon in the pass of the car, it does look as if he could be joined. It just could look behind a little bit to see, you know, where the riders are behind. I'm still looking, and okay, we're limited with the cameras. So we know that Finn is in front, Alvarez is in second place. There he is, for the first time we see him, and I think that's what Alvarez was looking at. Alvarez seen that Grindley wasn't that far behind, so Grindley's still within a chance of a medal.
Is indeed Sebastian Grindley from Great Britain, just about to ride himself back to Alvarez of Spain. Great ride here today from the British rider, who's just relished and ridden into the grisly conditions that he's had to deal with today. And they've got a gap. Senna Remine, I think, is about 1:45 down for the Dutch rider. Alvarez has just tried to recover here, Brian. You can see grabbing a gel, grabbing some food, trying to recover as much as he can for Sebastian Grindley to get back up to him.
Yeah, they've got 43 seconds. They've got this steep 14%er. Then we've got kind of small drag. We've got that very long descent, and then we've got a small drag, but finishes with about 5 kilometres to go to the finishing line. If I was Sebastian Grindley and Alvarez, they're now in a position of silver and bronze, just right together, and you know, just kind of sprint it out at the end, because I think for them the race is over for trying to win gold. Their job now is to stay away from the riders behind.
We have Grindley comes through to the front. You just see the Spanish team car coming up to Alvarez. And Grindley just maybe just putting the pressure on it. Looks like Alvarez is really blowing here, Brian. Grabbing food, grabbing drinks, doing, looks
taking
like he's right on his limit.
Yeah, but I think he just eased up enough, because in the end you have to look, you know, from A to B to get to the finishing line. This man is flowing, you know, half full of Sheffield steel, and he's shown it today with his performance. But, you know, in the group behind, you have to look at it, you know, what's in front of you. You've got a very short effort, about 15 seconds in that, 15, maybe 20 seconds in that steep 14%er. Then you've got a bit of a drag, so you've got another kind of maybe less than a minute's effort. Then you've got that long descent, and then another kind of minute and a half over that kind of small drag before the last 5 kilometres are flat. So you start to analyse what you can do, save, put the pressure on. But 1:19, he's absolutely flown away here and left everybody else for dead. These two have to communicate and look after each other, stay away from the others, knowing that silver and bronze are up for grabs.
It is indeed. And these two working together, communicating.
But I think you're right on Alvarez. You know, we're talking about Grindley, what does he do? Try and kind of hang on there, kind of make an effort over the top. But by the looks of things here, Alvarez does look ropey. I think he went deep, and the way he lost the wheel of Finn was, you know, I don't think he completely capitulated, but it's the risk you take. What do you do here? Do you actually kind of risk having a bit of a dig here and trying to secure that silver medal, or you ride together to try and stay away? And I think by the two of them looking behind, they're more concerned with what's happening behind. So I think they could stay together towards the finish, and these two could sprint out for the silver and bronze.
Indeed. Where is Senna Remine behind?
Well, it's saying that he's at, you know, just under 50 seconds. Could be heartbreak again for the Netherlands, having another 4th place. But I think if there's any accelerations and things like that from anybody in front, it's clear that Finn is on his way to, you know, victory in the rainbow jersey. But second and third does look, for me, as if it's going the way of Spain and Great Britain. In what order, we'll have to wait and see. But unfortunately for the Netherlands, for the second race in a row, it's just not meant to be.
All right, 1:22, 14.5 kilometres to go from our leader for Italy. And it's been quite a race today. If you are just tuning in, what a day we have had. You can see the conditions that the riders are dealing with. There we are. That's where we are on our course. There is our leader. Chase 1, chase 2. That's where the bikes are that are with them. Those are your two chasers, Sebastian Grindley and Hector Alvarez. So Great Britain and Spain. And then behind the team of the Netherlands. Back to the front. And our lone leader, Lorenzo Finn from Italy, putting in an absolutely phenomenal performance today, is the 17-year-old rider from Genova in Italy. He's part of the Bora Hansgrohe feeder team, Brian, the Grenke Auto Ada team. So he's one rider that's within the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe feeder team.
Yeah, no real surprise that he's in that team, and the way he's ridden it today, it would have been nice to see Philipsen here. He was the man to beat, the defending champion, but unfortunately that crash. But you have to take it on board, and I don't think anybody can take it away from the way that Lorenzo Finn has ridden today. He's shown all of us that what he was capable of by going on the attack the lap before. In the maturity that he had in his riding. The fact that, he's here and deep into the race with, he's going to win the race with 1:22. He just has to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes.
Indeed. What a ride. And we know if he can hear all the Italian fans along the side here, as Lorenzo Finn and I think for me, you can hear die, die, die along the side, the Italian fans all screaming at Lorenzo Finn. It's how relaxed he is. Oh, Sebastian Grindley on the climb. Hector Alvarez, we said it looked like the Spanish rider was really starting to hit the wall. And it looks like he's riding through quick drying cement here in this one, as Sebastian Grindley now takes off with 14.5 kilometers to go. Grindley has just got to bury himself now and go solo for this silver medal. But I think, Brian, that puts into perspective just how brutal this race has been today.
Yeah, we did question that. The way he lost the wheel of Finn, the conversations they had, Finn decided not going to try with my legs, and there's nothing there. There's nothing there in Alvarez, and the panic station a little bit, trying to get bottles and some gels from the car. It did mean as if he's starting to see stars, and I think Grindley looked back there, and I don't think he could quite believe it that Alvarez had just gone. Now it's a case of, when I've written off the Netherlands and to get a medal here, now it looks as if they've got a chance here.
You have the Netherlands can Stena Renmine, who's just been steadily riding his way back in to this one. Can he catch Hector Alvarez and give the Netherlands a medal? Lorenzo Finn has just got to safely negotiate this course, this kicker on the climb here that has been a significant part of the course today. But the juniors has delivered today. If you didn't work with us this morning for the junior women's race, go back and watch that. This has been an absolute spectacle as well. I'm sure you will agree. What a show the juniors have put on in tough conditions on such a tough course, and it really does show what we can expect over the days to come. Sebastian Grindley of Great Britain on his own, looking for a medal here in the World Junior Road Race Championships. I don't think we've ever had a medal, Brian. I can't find a medal for Great Britain in the junior men's category. That's it. That's what I mean. He's riding, making some history here. That's what I'm saying.
No,
So-
definitely. I feel for Alvarez because by the looks of things, he only has 10 seconds in remain of the Netherlands. You know, I think Grinley's already put 20 odd seconds into Alvarez. I really do feel for Spain because the way I was looking, did he have enough energy left? The answer was no. Could he hang on to that, winning the medals today? Again, he's just going to come up that little bit short. He did look good today, Alvarez, you have to say. But, with the gold medal gone, this does look as if this is going to be the silver medal for Great Britain. But it's looking more likely that the Netherlands could be snatching that bronze medal.
This race is not over. The battle for the medals. So we'll keep an eye on that third camera bike as well. Will we see Senna Roman riding his way back in? This is a really strong ride today from Sebastian Grindley from Great Britain in the silver medal position. And Lorenzo Mark Finn with a British dad from Sheffield riding proudly in the colours of Italy. And the Italian fans will be all over this one. The way that Lorenzo Finn has raced this one today. He's just got to negotiate all of these descents safely. And a big moment for Italy, as we've said. Ulisi, the last Italian winner of the Junior Men's Championship. So it's been a while in waiting for Italy in this one. And this is, we come into the junior men's race, Brian, and we've got riders that we know of, defending champion in Philipsen, and we look back at results as well, and then riders like Lorenzo Finn, we kind of put a little star by, so he could be good. Looking at his results so far this season, Sebastian Grindley, complete, you would say, surprise compared to the Philipsens and the Sepsas and those sort of riders as well. And that's the beauty of these junior championships.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. The success of the British team, at Zurich means a lot to it. I think he has ridden himself a good race. At one stage, it looked as if he may not be able to get a medal. He was kind of slipping and sliding a little bit, maybe making too many efforts at once. Paid for it, but he's recovered and ridden a kind of sure and steady race. When he was dropped from the group of four, you thought, oh, there's the medal gone. But you never know. Unfortunately, Philipsen crashed out. Alvarez is went pop. And now Grimley's within, a few kilometres of taking that silver medal.
He is, and as the British team, and you look at the British team as well, riders as well, and it meant that they could, as they have done, played off the bigger teams, played off the tactics of Denmark, the tactics of France, and Alvarez here of Spain. And you just, as well for him, and the ride that he's put in this one, the British team car just going past Alvarez. But you want him to hang on because he's been one of the animators of the race today as well, Hector Alvarez.
Yeah, he definitely has. We do wish that you put in the effort that you get the rewards. One person that has put in the effort today, you have to say, is Lorenzo Finn. What he's did in this race. The way that he's rid this race, albeit in the last lap he was alone. Now he finds himself alone. Looking at the world title, and there's no question that he's going to get that with the 144. But I really do feel for Philipsen. I would love to have seen if he was able to defend. He did look good, but he wasn't able to get rid of Lorenzo Finn. Whether he would have been able to do that if he didn't crash or not, we were never going to know that. But I think we've got a deserving champion. And, a few more riders behind battling out for these minor positions. We have been royally entertained, not just this afternoon, but earlier on today.
Hector Alvarez So there you have it, 6.3 kilometers to go. And Alvarez constantly here, just checking back over his shoulder just to see where they are behind. He knows he's still in that bronze medal position. And Alvarez of Spain just looking to try and round out this podium. You can see the gaps there, 1:44 from our leader, Lorenzo Finn, to Sebastian Grindley.
I don't think the Dutch rider is that far behind Alvarez. I think he should be duly worried about being caught in a run in towards this finish. I think he knows that. All these glances behind him.
There's our leader, our chasers, 1:44 from Lorenzo Finn of Italy to Great Britain's Sebastian Grindley. I think Grindley on his way to the Lidl Trek development team next year, the exciting young Brit. So that's a good way to announce that one as well. Lorenzo Finn, as we said, he races with the Red Bull Bora Hansgrohe development team. So a lot of these young juniors, their futures, their development within the sport assured, and very measured rides from both of these. If you look, the way that Finn has approached this race today, going clear on his own, he looked so relaxed, didn't he, Brian? He was so chilled out at the front, just let the race come back to him, was just taking the descents in his stride. It has been an absolute masterclass in the rain today.
Italy have always produced, very good road riders, and he was on his own. And it's a case of, do you risk, attacking and, putting the others on the back foot, like the other favourites, like Sextus and from France and Philipsen of Denmark. And he was prepared to risk it a little bit by going on the attack. I said at the time, maybe, others should have followed, but they didn't. And now he finds himself already doing previous lap, almost on his own, and now doing this lap on his own. And you can't take anything away from, either of these riders. Just getting a medal today in these circumstances has been admirable.
And the British team car has managed to get up here to Sebastian Grindley. Hector Alvarez here of Spain, still in that bronze medal position. You feel for a rider though, Brian, don't you, in this position where the fuel gauge is hitting empty and you've still got kilometers to go and you're trying to hang on and you're mindful of who's chasing you down behind.
Yeah, we've all hit the wall in training. There's another thing, being in a race like this, the World Championship, the biggest race of your career, and being in a position of a medal, and all of a sudden the kind of lights go out a little bit, but he's still got enough to try and kind of hang on. He's on that kind of last drag up here before this descent and then onto the flats. Still kind of looking to see where the Dutch rider is. It's saying that he's not that far behind. I do hope that Alvarez hangs on there, but we'll have to wait and see to the finish. But I think first and seconds, gold and silver secured, bronze not so. And, if it goes to Alvarez, then I think, he's already shown us what he can do. And he does have a good future ahead of him.
He does indeed. Lorenzo Finn driving on here for Italy. What a ride today from this rider. You can see his hands on the hood, shifts down onto the drops on the descent. Just got to safely negotiate now this run back up towards the finish. As well, without your radios and without your race racing, I know the juniors a lot of the time don't get to race with them anyway, but it's that moment of what's going circling around in your head. So you're riding towards a world title.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to his interview already now and hearing that bit of Yorkshire coming out. But yeah, I think really he has deserved it. Disappointing about Philipsen, but it is what it is. He's ridden well in this championship, and even if he didn't win it, I would have said, he's one of the rider of the race. You can see what it means to him. He cannot believe it, but he has annihilated this field today. He's 140 odd in front. That's how he's still at the pits there. It's been an incredible performance from Lorenzo Finn here.
He's got 2 kilometers to go. He's looking for his team car to come up to him. He just wants a little bit of information, I think, from the team car as they come up alongside him. The pit crew as well, just trying to get as much information up to him as they can. We go back to the head-on shot here of the Flamme Rouge. 3 gremlins in the cameras, as you can imagine, after a really damp day. This is your silver medalist, Sebastian Grindley from Great Britain. Seb Grindley looking to do a bit of history here in the Junior Men's Championship with a silver medal ride here. This has been an absolute mighty ride as well, you would say, from the British rider. Everyone, I think, who finishes this road race today, absolutely brutal conditions, as you can see, from start to finish. And he's solo, and then behind, we're just willing Alvarez here of Spain to hang on for that bronze medal, whereas Senor Emine of the chase, he's still holding solo in 3rd spot. Is the man from Spain, Grindley, driving on here, though, in that silver medal position. Brian, the juniors have delivered today in these road races. And
100%. Seb Grindley just goes to show you, of the group of 4, he was dropped first. Never, never give up.
And here you have it, your world champion. He's shaking his head. He's getting to enjoy this one, and enjoy it he should. Lorenzo Finn, remember that name, from Italy. What an absolute mighty performance today from the Italian. Absolute disbelief, but an absolute masterclass, you would say, from the Italian junior on this course here in Zurich. 17 years old, and he is coming up towards the line, and he gets enough time to really enjoy this one. The big smile, and deservedly so. What a ride from Genova in Italy. He comes home. He still can't quite believe it. We'll be looking forward to the post-race interview. It's time to celebrate your world champion. The junior men's title goes to Italy and Lorenzo Finn. What an absolute ride. Gold medal performance. Deserved rainbow jersey. The Italians can start celebrating. And we go back to the chasers. And it's Barry on the front here for the USA. The clock is ticking. So this chasing group are together. And Seb Grindley now, Brian, looking for the Flamme Rouge across the road.
Yeah, I think he's safe. He's safe within the silver medal position. Alvarez, I hope he is, but you know, it has been a gritty performance from Sebastian Grindley. Imagine going on four riders, get the bell, and thinking to yourself, right, I'm getting dropped here. There's 3 riders in front. It's just gone. And in a matter of blink of an eye, things change so much. But we're looking at this chasing group with Barry riding at the front. It'll be interesting to see where, and I think he has been brought back. Is that the Dutch rider, Ramin, in that chasing group here? So we're just looking behind. We can see that Grindley's taking the silver medal, but Alvarez, where is he?
Here's a little bit of history here for Seb Grindley from Great Britain in these grisly conditions. 500 metres now to go up towards the line, and the riders coming in here in pretty much groups of 1 at the moment. We've got that little chasing group behind, but what a moment for the British rider, Seb Grindley, coming home. They'll be able to enjoy this one. The 18-year-old British rider looks behind. He never gave up, never stopped believing. Drive to the line always. Silver medal, the first medal for Great Britain in the junior men's road race for Sebastian Grindley. Great ride. Now we look back down the road. Are we going to have a sprint here for the bronze? So we've got Barry from the USA, and with him from Germany, So the German rider, Paul Fiechke, is there. Senna Remine is also there. And there is a bronze medal up for grabs here because it looks like ours has blown completely. Barry, Fiechke, Remine, where is it going? And Fiechke looking for another medal in these championships if he can. They're looking around at each other. Barry on the front for the USA. 200 meters now to go. And the German starts his sprint. Paul Fiechke is sprinting it out here with Barry. Is he going to take the bronze medal? It looks like here's Remine closing the throw to the line. Oh, the Dutchman comes through. Oh, that looked like a photo finish on the line. Senna Remine takes the bronze for the Netherlands. And Brian, what can you say? You feel heartbreak for the Spaniard.
Yeah, no, it was a good battle for the bronze. Unfortunately, this rider just ran out of steam. It's always a situation when you're younger. You know, I've been there, I've done it, but to do it in the World Championships, just too much concentration in the other things and not your feeding. Bit too late, but Alvarez takes a creditable. You have to take in a 6th place here, but what could have been?
What could have been, indeed. Jürgen Zombrandt and Paul Sexas coming in here for France. A lot of pressure on the World Time Trial Champion shoulders today. And France, they threw everything they could at this one.
Well, he finishes in 7th place. He won the time trial, but to flip that on his head, Lorenzo Finn, this man here, he was 7th in the time trial to win the road race.
Indeed. We're looking forward to his interview. That was, I think that was phenomenal. I mean, what a race, what a show they put on.
He won it by 2 minutes and 5 seconds. The sprint for bronze was 3:06.
Wow. I mean, that's some big time gaps, isn't it? This is the sprint. And the same you've got to say for the Dutchman here as well. Senna Remine just never stop believing that you can come back. The rule across the just misses out to silver last year. Paul Fiechke of Germany, 4th, and a strong finish, you would say, from the American. Ashlyn Barry, oh, you just crushed for him. What a rookie today. The wall, you hit the wall, don't you? You just, when you run out of steam, you run out of steam.
With it being so nervy, he just got his feeding wrong.
And there you have it, your world champion. What a ride from Lorenzo Finn of Italy. They get their first gold medal of these championships with an absolutely phenomenal solo performance here in Zurich. You look at his face here, though, Brian, and you come in, when you get selected, and when you've had the year that he's had, and you have the talent that he has, always in the back of your mind, you believe that you could win it. But this is the World Championships, and you're up against a lot of riders that, again, that you may not have ever ridden against before.
He seems quite a quiet young man. You know, he's not showing too much emotion, kind of shaking the head, putting his hands in his head. I don't think he can quite believe it. I think tomorrow when he wakes up, that's when he'll believe what he's just accomplished here. He obviously came here to try and do his best and try and win, but it's just when you're coming down that finishing straight, and I don't think he knows what's happening.
That is a big moment, because that in a World Championship is just going to be everywhere, isn't it, in Italy? They will celebrate that one. And what can we say about Seb Grindley as well today? That was a gritty ride as well for the silver.
Yeah, 100%. Just kept on going, came on to the final lap. He must have thought, oh, I'm in with a chance, but I think it's just the way he rode. He kind of never panicked. Of course, nobody knew what was going to happen with Philipsen crashing, but even if Philipsen didn't crash, I really do think that Grindley would have come back in Alvarez and taken at least a medal. So yeah, well done to Seb Grindley today. Gutsy ride.
Definitely. And then a sprint for the bronze. Senna Remijn of the Netherlands comes in and makes it a podium. So here just edging out the German rider Paul Fiedke and Ashlyn Barry of the USA. And he was up in with a sprint for the medal in the end, Ashlyn Barry. So good performance from the American. There's our world champion, our world junior men's road race champion. Thoughts on the course after today, Brian?
I think it's a feel for the races coming up because they're going to be even longer. Okay, they're a bit maturer and should be a little bit stronger, but it's going to be tough racing all the way in these road races.
Your top 10 looks like this. Your world champion, Lorenzo Markfin from Italy. Sebastian Grindley from Great Britain takes the silver. Senna Remijn of the Netherlands takes bronze. Fiedke, Barry, Alvarez, Sexas, Zomeron, Clemenson and Eichsen are your top 10. 7 minutes and 4 seconds separating the top 10 here after 127.2 kilometers. I think that puts into perspective just how brutal the conditions and the course, the combination of the two have been here today. But what a day for the juniors. They have set us up beautifully for the days to come.
Can you believe it?
And here he is.
Lorenzo Finn, your world champion.
I still hasn't sunk in, to be honest. Still feels like a dream, but I guess I am, yeah.
Take us through your race. You tried pretty far away from the finish. It didn't pay off. They caught you, and then you tried again. You were unstoppable.
Yeah, it was. I felt amazing today. Probably the best legs I've ever had. When I went on my own the first time with like still 60k to go, I was like, oh, this might be a bit earlier. But then, Philipsen and a few of the guys bridged to me. And then I just wanted to go full on the climb. Albert crashed behind me. I hope it's okay. But yeah, once I was on my own, I knew I had in the bag because I was feeling amazing.
Is it the British side of you that adapts better to the rain?
I usually don't like the rain, to be honest. I like 35 degrees and sunny. But today it was perfect.
It's very promising for the future. What's next?
Yeah, we'll see. I have 2 years under 23. I'll continue to develop and I'll just enjoy the moment.
Well, enjoy the podium for the moment. Thanks a lot.
Lorenzo Markfin. As he said there, Brian, the British side, I think, helped with the rain today.
Yeah, it went to 35 degrees and sunny in Sheffield. Maybe a few days a year. But, look, no matter where you come from, he put in a performance of his life. And, is a credit to, any country. And to win the world title in the manner that he did was just exceptional. As he said in his interview, he felt super today. It would have been nice to see if he still won, if Philipsen hadn't crashed. That would have been interesting for me because Philipsen looked good, but this guy looked really good.
And also, it's the maturity as well as a junior. In his interview there, just